Well, welcome everyone to Ashland, Nebraska, and the 75th birthday of Memorial Stadium, where tonight two of the very best high school football teams over the last several years collide in a Class C1 matchup. The top-rated Aurora Huskies has traveled east down Interstate 80 to take on the third-ranked Ashland-Greenwood Blue Jays, and we are honored to bring this one to you tonight. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Washburn, and I'm joined by the most talented broadcast team in the state. Running our technicals is our five-star freshman Andrew Rowley. Crunching the numbers for us, our dynamic duo of Kayla and Steve Lonnie. Prowling the sidelines for the first time for us is current Husker broadcasting student and the Midlands College play-by-play football announcer Grant Hansen. Our expert spotter and quarterbacking our booth is our award-winning producer Julie Mink. And the man on my right, the man who will bring the color to the game this evening, former Hastings College All-American and Ashland-Greenwood High School teacher Jordan Wallman. Well, Jordan, here we go. The top 10 matchup that we've been waiting for since the schedules were announced back in February. Aurora, state champions in Class C1 in 2018, and a team that has played in both the Class B and Class C1 state in finals in 3 of the last 4 years. They come here to take on Ashland-Greenwood Blue Jays, a team that has not lost a regular season game since 2018. How's this for a matchup?
You know, it's huge. Aurora's had success not only in B but also in C1 as they continue to make those swaps back and forth to different locations and different classes. The success has not dropped off one bit in the slightest. You know, when I was a sophomore, we played against Aurora in the state finals and they had Andrew Rodriguez. And they were a beast, Tyson Brockmeyer, guys like that. So they're doing it big, and they've been doing it for a while. And tonight will be a great night for football.
Well, speaking of doing it big here and top 10 matchups, here's Aiden Rowley. He is our freshman, 5-star freshman, to set the stage for tonight's games across the state with this top 10 Class C1 matchups. Aiden, take it away.
Thanks, Tim. I'm Aiden Rowley here, and I'm looking at the top 10 teams in Class 1 that play tonight in week 3 of high school football. Aurora, number 1 is Aurora versus number 3 Ashland. Greenwood will battle here, right here in Ashland. Number 2 is Pierce, who will travel to Arlington. The 4th rated McCook will host Broken Bow. It will be number 5 rated Omaha Roncalli, meeting Raymond Central in Omaha. And then 6th ranked Boone Central tangles with the previous Blue Jay opponent in Columbus Lakeview. Number 7 ranked Adams Central facing Gothenburg. Auburn and ranked 8th makes the trip to Wahoo to face the Warriors. Next week, Ashland-Greenwood and Auburn will play in Auburn. 9th rated Scouts Central Catholic will try to get their second win of the year versus St. Paul. And out west, it will be number 10 ranked Shadron and Mitchell teeing it up in Shadron.
Aiden, way to go. Way to go. He just got his first on-air experience, and we love the work you did there, Aiden Rowley. And, of course, he'll be doing the technicals for us tonight. So welcome to the club, partner. Great job as he takes a big sigh of relief. He was a little bit nervous earlier today, but he broke through in a big way here on the broadcast. Well, folks, this is going to be so much fun. Let's take a look at these running backs. It is a game of running backs. As All-Stater Carlos Collazo, he's taking on the other side of the football, this Ashland-Greenwood defense. And for the Blue Jays, it's the modern-day Pony Express with Drake Zimmerman and Nate Upton. And Jordan, tell us about this slew of running backs we're going to see on both sides of the field.
Yeah, you know, it's easy to kind of like label guys as like thunder and lightning, or like one's a power back, one's a scat back. But both guys for the Blue Jays, Zimmerman and Upton, are really athletic. They run hard, they run tough, and right now what Ashland's doing is they're just kind of using them every other series. No play calling involved. Both these guys are very skilled getting it done. And they're really doing a great job getting behind that big horse of an offensive line that the Blue Jays have. And so that'll be a huge thing. The Blue Jays have kind of dominated things up front a little bit. The Aurora's got some big bodies as well.
I got to tell you, thank goodness you're in good shape. As Jordan is sprinting in the booth, out of the booth. If you don't know, he's our executive producer. He makes sure he runs the Strive and the media department here at Ashland-Greenwood, his media class. And so thankfully, due to him, we're on the air tonight and, again, doing an awesome job. But you've got a lot of responsibilities, and you're just a little out of breath, but in pretty good shape.
So Brad, special night tonight with the 75th anniversary, Brad wanted some drone footage. So my drone kid showed up like right as we got on the broadcast. So we got him out in the parking lot, got the drone up in the air, and he'll snap some pics, and JD Lightfoot will do a great job with that. But I sprinted back up in here, and I was trying not to breathe heavy in the mic.
You did great. JD Lightfoot doing some great work as well at Ashland-Greenwood with the video work. I know he's in your class as well. But let's get back here to this monumental matchup tonight. What will this rugged defense of Ashland-Greenwood, giving up just 94 yards a game, what do they need to do to slow down and try to win against the best offensive line in Aurora in Class C1?
Yeah, Aurora's really dynamic. They've always taken advantage of things like swing passes to get guys out on the edges. And really just overall, they do a great job of getting the ball in playmakers' hands in advantageous situations. Ashland does that with the jet sweep, but I know the coaches this week were talking about shovel passes, and they just have a lot of really, really good athletes. Kind of maybe the difference between a successful B and a successful C1 is just the depth. And now the numbers are down a little bit. They haven't seen a drop off in that depth.
Well, right now, folks, what you were looking at, the pictures we're bringing you, this is the 75th anniversary of the Memorial Stadium football games being played here. And it is a big night, as 1947 was the year that the stadium was built. And Brad Jacobson, the principal here, worked very, very hard to bring back some of the players who actually played in that game in 1947, which, by the way, was a win over Wahoo High School, a shutout over Wahoo in 1947. And so you've got left guard, he wore number 33 back in the day, Mel Bundig. Dick Buckmaster, number 29, he was a running back, and he had a big night that night against Wahoo. And how about Tom Dulesky? He was a right tackle on that team. He sported number 41. And those three gentlemen are back here having run this field up and down and north to south the way that it sits here next to the Salt Creek. And they were extremely excited to be here to celebrate year 75. And so what a night here. We also have Lloyd Kastner, whose father ran the fundraising and handled the dollars to make sure that enough money was obviously fundraised to build this facility. And Jordan, if you look back on this, yes, there's a lot of new amenities here, but boy, the shell of it looks absolutely the same as 1947.
Yeah, I kind of had a front seat to maybe some of Brad's info that he wanted to get out on social media. Our class gave him a hand with that, and I mean, almost everything was donated, volunteer work, the school board member, Dr. Rob Ziegenbein said, this is really a testament to our community. And so I think it's so cool how it's been a staple for the last Friday nights. I know especially in my last 6 years. So when people show up, it becomes kind of that central focus getting into the weekend, and a lot of support coming from the community.
Well, it is an exciting night here, not just because of Aurora and Ashland-Greenwood, number 1 versus number 3, but all of the history that is going to be honored and recognized tonight. A lot of former players are back. A lot of celebrities are here. John Baylor, the voice of the Nebraska volleyball team, has come here to watch. Mikey Davis, who played several years in the NFL, he's here on hand. We've got so much media. It is going to be a great evening of football, as the Blue Jays now are just moments away as they will bring out the color guard here for the national anthem. And so we are going to pause.
At this time, we ask you to please rise as our nation's colors are presented by the Ashland American Legion Color Guard under the command of Ron and Bisa. Gentlemen, remove your hats as the Ashland-Greenwood Pep Band, under the direction of Shelby Burr, plays our national anthem.
Well, there you have it. As this is starting off in the grandest of ways, and now we've got Grant Hansen down on the sideline. Grant, tell us what it looks like down there.
Hey, Tim. Well, guys, it's been 1,421 days since the Blue Jays last tasted a regular season defeat. Tonight, they face what is a titanic test. In fact, Blue Jay assistant coach that I spoke to earlier today billed it as the biggest regular season test that Ashland's faced in the last 4 years. So how do you keep a 29-game regular season winning streak alive? Well, it's pretty simple. Take care of the football. Blue Jays have lost 7 fumbles in the last 2 games. Then you got to limit the run. Carlos Collazo for the Huskies has been as advertised this season for Aurora. 2 games with more than 100 yards rushing and over 200 yards last week for the Huskies. Again, you got to keep him bottled up because he had 2 rushes of greater than 70 yards last week. So the big play, that's going to be important too. It sounds simple, but guys, it's easier said than done. Also, another thing to watch, the wind tonight down here on the field. You know, it feels a little bit windier. Check it. Sorry, I lost you for a second, but it seems a little bit more windy or a little less windy than it was a few hours ago. But watch that as the game goes on. If the wind starts to die down a little bit, once the sun goes down, it's going to start getting a little bit colder. It's going to feel like fall by about the second quarter later on tonight.
All right, Grant, thanks very much. Grant gave us a good picture down there. And folks, at midfield right now, they are announcing the players who obviously played here in 1947, and their families are down there with them. And they'll be given an honorary football, and it's a great way to kick off this game as a lot of history here tonight, Jordan Wallman.
You know, I remember a couple of years ago the conversation about new school, new field came up, and just as weighing all options, and I know how important it was for our district to keep things down here, and it's just been so cool hearing about the history of this week, and just the role that the community played in building this facility, and just all the history behind it. So really cool this is getting to happen right here in front of us.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And the Blue Jays here, of course, as I said, they are wanting to make sure that tonight they play up to the standards of these gentlemen from 1947. But what a tough test. I mean, you've got an Aurora team that just dropped down from Class B a year ago, and they went all the way to the Class B state championship. They played in the state finals 3 of the last 4 years, Jordan. This is obviously the toughest regular season task that the Blue Jays have faced in many, many years. As the fireworks go off here in Memorial Stadium in the south end zone, and we've got everything going tonight, and we'll get the camera on it here if we can get him pan over here. And we've got a talented young high school student who is doing some of our shooting tonight. And Jordan, you've assembled a heck of a team.
I did. You know, it's a big night. You got Houston Fleck on the camera. We got A-Train Rally behind us. It'll be a great night.
Well, they continue to go off, and what we're hoping for here early on is that the Blue Jays and Aurora, well, we know they're going to provide plenty of fireworks on the field. What a night it is. Other than about a 20-mile-an-hour wind coming in from the north, it is a perfect setting for high school football.
Hey, Tim, to your point, kind of the fireworks got me a little distracted. Ashland AD Dustin Dieterding made a great point today when I was talking to him. You know, he said, yes, Aurora is a power dog. They're big. They're favored in this thing, but you know, they haven't really been tested this year. Or the Blue Jays have played 2 really good top 10 teams. So he kind of mentioned that could be the difference right now. Aurora might have more talent, but they haven't had to go through the gauntlet yet. A little unproven, but we'll see.
You know what? I think Aurora would say, now, wait a minute here. We played a top 10 team in Grand Island Northwest in Class B, and Boone Central was rated 5th. However, listen, we're going to put our hats in with the Blue Jays, right? We're going to say that the Blue Jays are not any of those two teams, but we're going to find out here, Jordan.
You know, we got a lot of
Jays.
respect. We got a lot of respect for our teams down the road. Wahoo, you know, those are our people. We love them. We're gonna put them on a platform and say we played.
Without a doubt, you're right. The Blue Jays have opened up with 2 rated teams, as Jordan was mentioning, Wahoo, as well as Columbus Lakeview, who won the Class C state championship a year ago. So here we go. We're going to get things started. Aurora did win the flip, but they elected to defer. The Blue Jays are going to send back Drake Zimmerman as well as Thomas Spears. Thomas Spears, quite a danger, as is Zimmerman in the return game. And it will be doing the honors, Devin Otto, who has just gotten better and better every single game. And he'll tee it up at the 40-yard line with the wind staunchly behind him. Here we go. The crowd on their feet, the student body in full throat tonight as Otto gets us started. Number 1 versus number 3, and Drake Zimmerman will take it a yard in the end zone, and he will automatically bring it out to the 20-yard line, as that'll turn into a dead ball possession, and the Blue Jays will get it going at the 20.
Good teams have good special teams. Potato. Peyton Alexander, that's our nickname in class, is doing great for us, but Aurora's no expectation, getting things started off with a touchback.
It'll be Dane Jacobson, the junior signal caller. He'll be leading the charges out. Behind him, Nate Upton. And Thomas Spears will split to the near sideline. On the far sideline, you've got Drake Zimmerman, who's going to start as a wideout tonight. He's a talented running back out there with Leighton West, as well as Isaac Carson, a junior. The O-line will get here in just a minute. On a first down and 10 for the Blue Jays to get things started here at Memorial Stadium. It's a pistol set for Jacobson, and now he is going to look over to the sideline and get a little bit of a play change as the snap happens. Play fake, and here comes Jacobson. He wants to go for a deep ball, and he got the receiver turned around. That 20-mile-an-hour wind might have had something to do with that pass.
Taking a shot on the first play, I like it. You know, maybe don't let Aurora come up and play press coverage. And Carson has kind of been a sleeper this year, maybe trying to open things out with a bang, just like the cannon in the end zone.
I like it. Isaac Carson with 2 touchdown catches already. The offensive line for the Big Blue, and they're big. Jackson Hammond center. The guards are Braxton Buck and Landon Sabota. The tackles, Luke Lambert going to Wayne State, and Ben Harris will be the right tackle. They will send Carson in motion to the far sideline. On this 2nd and 10 for Dane Jacobson, 3 receivers set. Upton behind him. And here comes Upton's first carry. He'll power through for 3 or 4. And here comes the 3rd down. Let's call it 6 for the Big Blue.
4 yards on any run play inside is great. We love that. You know, 3rd and manageable. I know last week we talked a lot about the down and distances and how obtainable they are. A lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 6.
Garrett Bellis got his first tackle of the night. His name will be called a lot. He is a terrific middle linebacker. Coach Thompson saying a lot of great things about him in the pregame. So here comes the 3rd down and 6 for the Blue Jays at their own 24. And there's a play fake. Jacobson being chased by Allen. He'll dump it off down the sideline to West, but it's incomplete. And there is Jack Allen, the future All-Stater without a doubt. Boy, they are high on him, and you see why as he gave chase to Jacobson and forced that incomplete pass.
And he came as a kind of a taller player. I assume his brother's Austin Allen, tight end in Nebraska. I might be wrong on that. If they're in the same family, they're built the same, but coming from a nose guard position there on a 3rd down, Ashland looking for a little whip route that they scored on last week with Carson, giving chase, making the hurry.
Well, I think, and you're right on path there, I believe he is the cousin of Austin Allen.
There we go.
And so here's the snap, very athletic family, as Sabota will kick into this 20-mile-an-hour wind, and boy, the wind just grabs it, pushes it back, and Aurora's going to start out in great field position in the Blue Jay territory at about the 38-yard line. So if you're Coach Peterson, you got to love this start.
Yeah, you know, good 3 and out right there for Aurora. You know, the punt kind of gets hung up in the wind and then gets about 10 yards of backspin right there, almost like your golf ball hitting the green. Tough break, but hey, let's see this Blue Jay defense stay staunch.
So here come the Huskies out onto the field, and they will be led by their senior quarterback, who's started the season necessarily predicted to win the starting job, Drew Knust, but he's done a marvelous job. And behind him, 2,000-yard rusher from a year ago, Carlos Collazo. And on 1st and 10, they're going to try their big running back, and he'll get inside the 30 near the 1st down marker. Good start for Collazo.
Collazo's a horse. You know, we didn't get to it in the pregame, but he's an elite athlete at 190. He runs extremely well behind a big O-line. 2,000 yards rushing in a season is not an easy thing to do.
Drake Zimmerman makes the stop, but not until Collazo picks up 11. And they'll move the sticks. And Let's see what Canoose will do on 1st and 10. Why not Collazo again? And he just runs over Dane Jacobson. Gets down to the 23-yard line, but Dane doing a good job staying in there on him.
You know,
gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
One really good asset the Blue Jays maybe have over other teams is how well they rally the football. So it's going to take a couple guys to bring Collazo down, and that starts to get a couple heads in there early.
Aurora, like what they're doing here early on with Collazo. And that big offensive line that they have to run behind between Ethan Burson, Jack Allen, Garrett Bellis. We'll get the rest here on 2nd and 5. And here is Collazo, and it's a dog pile for the Big Blue as Lambert got through first. And a few other Wilsey, and I believe the hammer, Jackson Ham.
You just love that from a momentum standpoint. He's had 2 really good runs in a row. There, Lambert gets in, a couple teammates backing him up and dropping him for a loss on making 3rd and 7.
So on 3rd down and 7, this is what Coach Thompson wanted. He said, you'll see success if you see some 3rd and 6 and 2nd and 8s. And here's the big 3rd down for Aurora. Collazo stays in the game behind Canoose. Blue Jays will send 5, and Canoose is going to run it. He's got a seam. He's across the 20, dives to the 18. He's going to be very close to a 1st and 10. There's Dane Jacobson up from that safety spot again.
One of the really good things Aurora did there was they used Collazo in kind of a swing out left, but then used the quarterback kind of a power ISO type run to the right. Good players attract attention, as they should, and their Collazo kind of got the Blue Jays out of position a little bit.
Well, it will be a 1st and 10 as they got just enough. So on that big 3rd and 7, a great run by Canoose. He is a pass-run threat without a doubt for the Huskies. And here's the snap. They're going to try Collazo over the right side, and he will scamper in the end zone. Logan Sabota got there late, but until Collazo rumbles in from 18 yards. And boy, did they show their power early on, Jordan Wallman.
They're kind of showing a little, coming from that quarterback shotgun set, they're using Collazo kind of in a across-the-body power motion or a counter where he kind of steps up and then reverses the other way. One of the things he does so well is he can really just kind of run in a curved line. It just looks so easy, so effortless, but that kid's 190 running that hard and that fast.
Yes, he is. He is a big, strong kid with a burst. We saw it last week. If you took a look at a couple of his big touchdowns run against Boone Central, he just ran away from people, and that's a very good defense at Boone Central. So here we go. They're going to bring in Alex Wheeler. He's a left-footed kicker. He played a lot of soccer in his early days, and he's going to try to make it 7-0 as Canoose gets a high snap, puts it down, and there is that strong leg of Wheeler, and it is good. So it's 7-0, and boy, the Blue Jays come out, and Aurora got a short field. They took advantage of it, Jordan.
Yeah, and went 3 and out to start things off. Punt didn't necessarily help the most, but one thing to remember is that it's super advantageous to be in 4-down territory. So Aurora getting into 4-down territory there basically allowed them to rethink their entire 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down schematics. So obviously, you'd like to see some stops. We got to Collazo once there really well, but he also kind of wrapped off a couple big ones.
All right, well, we've got a 7-0 lead, 9:30 to go 1st quarter. Number 1 ranked Aurora. They wanted to come in here and show that they indeed have played in 3 out of the last 4 state championships in 2 different classes for a reason, and they proved it there early on, and the Blue Jays are reeling just a little bit.
Yeah, and that seeing something like that could make the people at home a little nervous. But last night, Ashland reserves took on Platteview reserves, and Platteview kind of marched on their first possession. Ashland kind of stalled, and then from that point on, there was a little momentum shift, and it became a dogfight really early. So, this is the big thing to respond right here. But sometimes when you're fighting against that win for the quarter, it can be a little tough.
Here comes the kick from Otto, and it's a good one. Got it up there in that wind, and he about kicked it out of the end zone. And so it'll bring up a 1st and 10 Blue Jays. And Jordan, you got to imagine the Blue Jays, they feel like they need to come out on this series and get a couple of 1st downs.
Yeah, in down management, they took a shot on their first try. I love that from Coach Tonges. So let's just kind of settle in and see what that game plan looks like from them. If that shot would have hit, as Tonjes has done so many times, it would have been a good thing. But right here, let's kind of settle in and we see a little more of a power package here from the Blue Jays.
And Jacobson will work under center this time. And now he will step out. He's going to talk things over here with the offensive staff. And now they'll run it straight up the middle. And he's going to get Sabota for about 5, and that's it.
there. A little more power football might be up the Blue Jays' alley. Starting things off with a dive off the weak side. It's really good action. You kind of see what that first down tendency might be for the rest of the game for the Blue Jays.
So 2nd and 5 as Jacobson again will get the play from the sideline. Drake Zimmerman comes in here at I-back. He's averaging over 10 yards a carry, and he'll get the pitch, and he's going to try to work upfield, and he is hit, and he is pushed back. Let's set that defensive line. We already mentioned in there Jack Allen, but you got Ethan Burson, and Jack Allen just made that last tackle, and Kellen Peterson. The backers are Wade Olson, Garrett Bellis, Connor Smith, and Drew Danielson. And so, again, very talented linebacking core in the secondary. Carson Stair, Carlos Colaza, Drew Canoost, and Kobe Noctegal. So here comes a big 3rd and 3. The Blue Jays trying to get their first down of the game. They trail 7-0. And here's a pistol set for Jacobson. Again, Zimmerman behind him, and they'll try Drake. Drake met in the backfield. Flag comes flying, and Zimmerman is buried under. And it looked like leading the charge was Kellen Peterson, the coach's son. And now let's see what this flag is all about. As they will talk it over. It's a hold on the big blue, and I have a feeling that Aurora is going to decline this.
Still a good possession from the Blue Jays. We'll see if they can get a little bit more out of this punt than maybe the last one, but great play on first down, picked up 2, and then as they go for the 3rd run in a row, just doesn't quite work out. So not a worry. We'll see what Coach Tonjes has going on here after the penalties accepted or declined.
Jordan, we're going to try to get a wind sock there on your microphone. It is just really picking up the wind here tonight, and we're getting some feedback, so we're going to have Jordan work on that for a second. And when he's done with that, we'll get him back on the air. So the Blue Jays, they're going to punt it away here, and it may not work. So just keep trying there, partner, and we'll see if we can get that to work here. As Logan Sabota will stand back to punt. He's averaging just over 39 yards a boot. And so he's done a good job, but his first punt was very short. Jordan, that sounds much better now.
Okay, good.
Not hearing the wind now. And here comes the snap. Sabota will rugby it and try to kick through that wind, and this works. Great call by Dan Baranek, the special teams coordinator, and it'll be touchdown at the 40-yard line. So Aurora will have a tougher field to go this time. They just had 38 yards on their first possession, but now they're back to their 40, and this Blue Jay D, they're facing a big challenge here.
Yeah. So this is great for the Blue Jays right here. You know, you saw some power, you saw some counters out of that shotgun set. I'm excited to see what the Blue Jays kind of have in response to that, because there's some gashes there in the last possession, but you know Coach Thompson's a master on defense.
No doubt, and of course that big defensive line for the Blue Jays, they've been so tough this year. The tackles, Jaden Wilsey and Landon Sabota. The ends, Braxton Buck and Luke Lambert. The backers, Leighton West, Logan Sabota, Jackson Ham, and Ty Carey. And the back end is Drake Zimmerman, Thomas Spears, Dane Jacobson, and Isaac Carson. So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 40. Shotgun set, and Canoost will take it. He'll try Colazo off the right side. A huge hole, and Colazo just continues to run over players, and he gets down to the 47-yard line.
Colazo offset to the left. He has a wing back to his side. They're going to run a little guard pull, let that wing back lead through. Kind of 2 pulling guard, big body action, power to the right side there. Big gash again.
And the 140-pound Thomas Spears comes up, makes the stop, but not until Colazo got 13. He's having a night early on here, and D-line, they're trying to establish themselves, but the Huskies making it tough. And on 1st and 10 from the 47, Colazo left side, and this time a short gain of, let's call it 3. It's a 2nd down and 7. And I believe Landon Sabota was in there, as well as Dane Jacobson from the secondary.
That was kind of a big theme at Wahoo, the D-line getting in and making plays. So like to hear those D-linemen getting in there and making plays. Luke Lambert had a great play on the last possession, but it's going to take a team to bring down the big boys.
Buck checks out of the game, and in for him is Wilsey. Blue Jays with that, really they call it a 3-man front, but those 2 outside backers up on the line, so it looks like a 5-man front on this 2nd down and 7, and this is going to be Canoost. He works in, he works out, and then they bring him down, and here comes another 3rd down for the Huskies at the Blue Jay 41.
Really looks like Aurora's strategy is to kind of alternate between running left with the running back or kind of faking that in a play action format and then getting downhill with their quarterback. Either way, kind of following the tight ends and the pulling guards. You can probably see where that action's going.
Here we go, 3rd down and 4 from the 41. Ball in the middle of the field here for the Huskies as the Blue Jay faithful on their feet. trying to stop the Huskies, who have been so tough early on. It's Canoose. He's rolling, he's dumping, and it was deflected, I believe, at the line of scrimmage by Colton Cerveny, who came up and made the play. Here's a 4th down for the Huskies.
Absolutely huge. A little coverage action there. Everyone was covered up, and then the pressure kind of, sometimes calls it a coverage hurry or a coverage sack. Colton getting to the quarterback, that was absolutely awesome.
And it looks like the Huskies are giving it some deep thought here about going for it on 4th and 4 in Blue Jay territory at the 41. And now they're bringing in a few players from the sideline, but Jordan, it looks like they're staying out there. They're going to go for it on 4th and 4.
You know, the wind in your face there. Blue Jays kind of fighting it the other way. I don't hate that call from Aurora at all.
Shotgun set, empty backfield here for Canoose. Will they spread it out and he'll take off? No, bubble screen, and it's going to be complete to Stair. Stair gets the corner, has the first down. Oh, it was oh so close.
Going back, a little holding on the outside out there.
I saw the Blue Jay players jumping up and down. They were happy, but Jordan says it's a hold on the Huskies.
Little spot screen is actually Colazos out there, and he did a great job of just kind of waiting, and then kind of letting go at the last second. But good job by the referee crew there to kind of catch that one and not let them take advantage from a little bit of hold.
And, yep, the Blue Jays will obviously move them back. And now Coach Peterson in this chess match early on has decided, I'm going to put my punting unit in. And by the way, the officials tonight, we got an excellent crew here in Ashland. The referee is Jason Ford. Jesse Schutz is the umpire, the headlinesman, Nathan Hall, Joe Cassidy, the line judge, and the back judge is Eric O'Malley, a crew that's worked a lot of games. And so we're in good hands tonight here in Ashland, Nebraska with the officiating crew. So in comes the punter, Devin Otto. He's a 160-pound senior. Back will be Nate Upton. Upton will give this thing a go if Otto gives him a chance. And the pressure, Blue Jays almost got to it as Nonella just about got a hand on it. Beautiful punt by Otto with the wind behind him. It'll be marked out of bounds at the 18-yard line, but the sophomore Nonella almost got a big block early on.
And that's a great job by Baronic. That's a good one to go after. You know that punt's going to be deep. It's either going to be a touchback probably with the wind. Almost got one. Another thing, kind of the wind is dying down a little bit. Not only is my mic not picking it up as bad anymore, but it is dropping a little bit. So kind of thing to keep an eye on as Aurora flips the field in the second quarter.
3rd possession for the Big Blue. They have been shut down by this dominant Aurora Husky defense. What will they do here on their 3rd possession from the 18? There's Spears in motion. The junior will give it to his fullback, Sabota, on a quick hitter out to the 20. Short gain, here's a 2nd and 8. And leading the charge for that Aurora defense was Damian Stanley.
Aurora running a little bit of a forefront here. They've got a walked up, kind of stand-up D end on the outside, but Tonjes early on really taking advantage of that fullback action. Only got 2 on that one, but positive yardage on 1st down is a good place to start.
Serving in as a wideout, as well as West on that far side. Upton the running back. Bubble screen, complete to West. He's got some speed. Gets the edge and then hit quickly out of bounds. What a pop out there by Aurora's Carlos Colazo. He closed quickly.
That's a good play by Ashland as well. Dane kind of got back, didn't hesitate too much, threw a confident ball to Layton, got Layton in stride, and they got 6 yards. Really, that's not something Ashland's shown a lot this year, is getting out to that slot receiver. So maybe saving that a little bit for a big game with Aurora.
5.5 to go, 1st quarter. Blue Jays down 7-0. And they face yet another 3rd down. What will Nate Tonjes, the exceptionally creative and talented offensive coordinator for the Blue Jays, what will he dial up here with that traditional eye set behind Jacobson? And they're going to run counter. And there's some running room for Upton. He's oh so close, and the Blue Jay sideline says he got it.
I love it. 3rd and 3, you know, you can't go to the sky. This is a big game. You're playing another really big team, but you have to go down and get things. Run a little counter action there. Nate Falls is pulling guard, pulling tackle, and they get behind the trenches and they get 4 yards the hard way. I love to see that from the Blue Jays.
Matthew Onen comes up with a stop. How talented and deep is this Aurora defense? Already we've mentioned Onen, we've mentioned Stanley, both of them come off the bench. And here's a pump fake by Jacobson. He wants the deep ball. He's got a man wide open. It's complete to Isaac Carson down to the 39. And what a play call as they bid on that. And Palazzo came up and ended up getting to Carson, but not until a big game.
So it's actually going to be Leighton West out of that slot position right there. Dane kind of shows a little action, little whip route from Carson on the outside, hits Leighton in stride, and Tim, not sorry to jump on your thunder. Those two boys are built the exact same, 1'6", 1'8", but really like that action after showing run the last couple plays.
Well, no, thank you, partner, for correcting me, because Leighton West, we mentioned with his speed, look out, and he got behind Collazo. On 1st and 10, they're going to try Upton, who reverses course. He's got a little running room, down to the 30. It took Olsen to bring him down, but not until Nate Upton got 10.
This is a really good series right now from the Blue Jays. They're showing attacks on multiple fronts. They're building off previous plays, getting different guys the ball in their hands. Leighton West, I think, coming into this only had a couple catches, and he's already got 2 big ones. But you know our bread and butter is to get down and run the ball with Drake and with Nate. And then keep your eye out for Thomas as well. Tonja's just calling a beauty right now. Finish it off.
4:14 to go first quarter, 7-0. Blue Jays trail, but they've got their first drive going, and Tonja's, the offensive coordinator, says let's absolutely flood the field with receivers. Trips to that far sideline. Spears alone on the near, and they fake the bubble screen, and now they're going to try to find Spears. He got behind Stair. It's caught at the 2. Can Spears get in there? He dives in. Look out. Blue Jays on the board.
Let's go. Let's go. Love that action. Love that play. They're going to show Drake on the jet action, a staple of Ashland-Greenwood's offense for the last couple of years. Use that in motion. Drake creates a little extra, Dane creates a little extra time with his feet, and then he gets the ball up to Thomas, and he finishes the job. Love that.
Well, Peyton Alexander, he stands 5'6", but he's got a big leg. He's 7 for 8 on PATs. He'll come in here to try to tie it at 7. Late first quarter, perfect snap. Alexander's boot is good, and we are deadlocked at 7. Number 1 versus number 3, and Jordan, an early start for Aurora. They came out, they absolutely popped the Blue Jays in the mouth. They scored from 38 yards out on the first drive, but then the Blue Jays, they feel like they're getting a little bit into the rhythm of this football game.
And I think rhythm's a perfect way to describe it. Very often do you give another team the ball on your own 40-yard line, and that doesn't end out well for them in some type of scoring opportunity. 3 big runs, and they're down in first and goal situations, or they can ride behind a 20-yard rush. Rhythm's a perfect way to say it. That was one of our first downs of the day. Allowed Tonja just kind of spread the playbook out, get that thing out a little bit. And the Blue Jays are showing something they haven't shown a whole lot this year is a solid pass game to multiple receivers.
Well, I'll tell you, folks, love working with Jordan Wallman. Barry Kitchell, of course, occupies that seat most weeks, but his son Bryce is playing in Happy Valley at Penn State this weekend, as he's a running back for Ohio U, and he took all the boys out there with him for trip of a lifetime, he called it. And I got to imagine they're going to have a ball this weekend like we are tonight. Huh?
I'm excited to fill in, but happy for next week when Barry gets the seat back. No, it's a good one. You know, not every day you get to call the game of the week for a lot of stations, and I'm pretty blessed to be here.
Well, it's awesome to have the Hastings College All-American who does such a great job. And here comes Alexander into a big win. It's going to hang up and be fielded by Stair at the 20. Stair is an absolute talent. He just navigates swiftly and gets knocked out of bounds at around the 35. Pretty good kick coverage there with him fielding it at the 20.
Yeah, and a big win coming into that. That's the same type of win you're going to be getting in the second quarter with your kicks as well. So, you know, special teams right now, you're just kind of surviving and you're trying not to let it hurt you.
And Julie Mink, our spotter, lets us know that Aiden Crumweedy makes the tackle, and that's good to see because Crumweedy's been out with an injury, and the junior getting his first action of the year. So here come the Huskies, deadlocked at 7. A lot of anticipation in this game for good reason, and so far we've seen a heck of a quarter. As Knust will take the snap, and he's going to run option. He's going to get it out there. This is going to be Nagachal, and he's going to be brought down at the 30-yard line, but it's a face mask as Drake Zimmerman got into Nagachal and made the face mask.
You know, we're seeing Aurora kind of expand their game a little bit. They kind of show that run to Colazos on the inside, and then Newts and another receiver getting to some zone or getting to some option action. One of the things the Blue Jays did really well was they stayed true to their assignments. They didn't let Newst kind of pump out and then work back under. And guys were rallying. You know, just a little mistake there from Drake.
Well, you talk about little mistakes. How about a big mistake? As Kobe Noctegal is not going to be real impressed how I butchered his last name 2 or 3 times on that run. But a player of that caliber, 170-pound senior, Kobe Noctegal, he is a good one. And we're going to get his name called a lot tonight, so I better get it right. So at the 45-yard line, here they come again with that pistol set, play fake, and they're looking deep. But they've got Palazzo out of the backfield. He stays on his feet. What balance down to the 40-yard line and a 15-yard pickup. What balance by Palazzo.
And that's just kind of where he's so special. I'm not sure if he runs track. I'm not sure what his 40 is, but it's not like he's just blazing fast. He just has such a low center of gravity. He handles himself so well when working with individual feet. And not many people this season have taken a direct hit from Thomas at full speed and managed to pick up 5 or 6 extra yards.
Sabota, Jacobson had to combine to get Carlos Palazzo down, but Aurora moving it again at the Blue Jay 40-yard line. 3 minutes to go, first quarter. As they will send Palazzo in motion. And they're going to do quarterback keeper. And buried that time. Coming up there to hammer Jackson Ham and Luke Lambert.
Assignment driven, a little zone read action there. Colazos was covered up, Noose was covered up. That's great response. And Aurora's being really creative right now, finding different ways to get the ball in playmakers' hands.
Well, you wonder when they're going to find Colazzo again here, because he's been having a quarter. But so far they've run option away, and then they, of course, threw it to him, and he got a 15-yard carry. And then they kept Knust on the quarterback keeper. So let's see if they dial up Colazzo's name and number on 2nd and 10. No. And they're going to throw near sideline. Through the hands. It was a bullet. As the intended receiver was not able to bring that in. As that, of course, is Dylan Danielson. And that was a showcase of the arm of Knust.
That was the exact thought that I had. He might have thrown that a little bit too hard, tried to fit into a tight window. But if anything, it shows the arm strength and the ability to get downfield that he has.
3rd and 10. Here come the Blue Jay fans. They're eating up this big contest at Memorial Stadium on the 75th birthday of this vaunted stadium. And now Knust talking to his wideouts on the far sideline. He'll keep Palazzo back with him with 2:17 to go in the quarter. Here's the snap. Blue Jays send 4, bubble screen, and that is a backwards pass. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. And it's either going to bring up a 4th down and about 17, because that should be out of bounds back at the 48, as that was clearly a backwards pass. Jordan, I see you're in deep thought over there. What's going through your mind?
What's the ruling if it's a backwards pass that goes out of bounds?
It should be back at the 48, but I don't know if they're going to call this.
Me, I'm the official's apologist, but from my perspective, I'd bet the mortgage that it was a backwards pass.
Yeah, just like a pitch that would go awry. It should be marked back, and indeed it will be back at the 48. So the Blue Jays will decline the motion penalty on the Huskies. And now this Blue Jay defense starting to feel some life here as they've been able to slow the Huskies down in their last 2 possessions.
And they've been staunch. They've been amazing. They've been rock solid. Pick your adjective. They've been great. So that early touchdown was a little uncharacteristic. It's good to kind of see them dig their heels in and show some life.
So it'll be Otto in to do the punting. He has had a great first quarter, using that wind behind him, and he does it again, and once again Onella almost got in there. This is going to bounce at the Blue Jay 3, and it will roll into the end zone. So that is where the Blue Jays will start 1st and 10 at their own 20. And by the way, we're going to have a legend up here in the booth at the end of the first quarter. Bob Jensen, a guy that interviewed you years ago when you were playing for Beatrice, of course, Huskerland Preps. You might know him as Huskerland Bob. He's going to come visit us, and we're going to throw him a few questions here between the first and second quarter.
And we've reconciled. He obviously took a very embarrassing picture of me. It's my own fault for smiling when I had braces, but we were going to be golf partners in league last year, so we've no cry over spilled milk. We're good.
Well, listen, those braces, they cost a little money, but man, we all go through that in high school. Here's a snap that got behind Jacobson, so Zimmerman picks it up. And will just fall down back at the 8-yard line. And that is exactly what the Blue Jays wanted to avoid, as Connor Smith got back and touchdown Zimmerman.
Little miscommunication. It looks like Dane's over looking at the sideline, and that snap comes. Wasn't quite ready for it. You lose 11 yards on 1st down. Not exactly what you want, but how do you get it back piece by piece?
And you don't want to have to punt into this incredibly stiff wind tonight. So on 2nd and 22, they will run traditionalized set. Jacobson, hard count. Now he steps away. The flag pretty stiff there on the flagpole tonight. As Jacobson now working that offensive line with the audible. He fumbles again. He will roll out. Look, Dane is going to fire incomplete to Carson, and something's going on between he and his center, Jackson Ham.
Jacobson's pass incomplete.
It's all right. They'll touch base and they'll get it figured out. I'll tell you, one of the really impressive things there is as we're watching the game, play clock's running down. We have new sideline power. Huge shout out to Matt Starr in sideline power. New clocks in the end zone. They really allow those boys to see the time.
I love it. Jordan, I'm so glad you mentioned it. Sideline Power has outfitted, of course, a business located just outside of Ashland, and they've done some incredible things for this school. As we've got the play clock running down to 18 seconds, speaking of, is Jacobson on 3rd and 22. Will take the snap, play fake, looking, and they're going to screen to the far side of the field. Can Zimmerman weave around enough? No. Aurora will finally bring him down after the 15, but a little breathing room for the Big Blue, as Sabota will have an opportunity not to have to stand on that back end zone line to punt it away.
I was talking with Tonjes earlier in the week, and he kind of was, what did you guys think about my comments? Was I too harsh? The boys made some small mental mistakes that we can't make, and that's a great example of a mental mistake. That fumble on 1st down and that botch snap on 2nd down really put us into 3rd and unbelievably difficult.
And worse yet, they're going to punt into this win, so Aurora should have very good field position as Sabota. It's one of his best boots of the night in that win, but there goes Stair at the 40. He is a talent, and he's still alive at the 30, making multiple players miss. Finally knocked out of bounds is the gold medalist of the 300, or make that the triple jump. And he is an incredible athlete. Jordan, he jumped 46 feet 6 inches.
Wow.
And was able to win that gold medal at the last state track meet. So he's a talent.
I don't know a lot about track, but I know that when you're dealing with triple jumps above 45, you're talking about some college level stuff. So just kind of speaks to the talent level, the running back, Noose at quarterback, and then to have him kind of sitting as someone sleeping that's going to get to handle the ball quite a bit.
So they'll break it out, and it will be Canoose with Collazo. They're going to put Stair here on the near sideline, as well as Noctegal, and now they await the snap. And they're going to try Collazo. They get back to him, and he's got a huge hole, and he gashes that defense down to the 21-yard line. Gain of 9, it's 2nd and short. Thomas Spears came up from the safety position to make the stop.
And Aurora does a great job there, just kind of getting some of our inside linemen turned away, and then Collazo just kind of rumbles, bumbles, and stumbles forward for a 9-yard gain, 8-yard gain. Just runs downhill hard.
Boy, he does. And here's his 2nd down and a long yard. And now here we go. We've got a whistle as the quarter has ended. And so the Blue Jays, they were stymied a bit early in this quarter, down 7-0, but they came back to tie it up with a very nice drive, and Thomas Spears dove in from the 1-yard line to tie it up at 7. And so we've played one quarter, and that means it's time for Grant Hansen. And so, Grant, we'll go down to you. Tell us what it looks like after one quarter of play.
Goals that we laid out in the pregame, right? You want to limit the turnovers, limit the self-inflicted mistakes, and bottle up the run. And so far, the Blue Jays struggled to do that in that first drive, and for the most part, they've taken care of the football well, with the exception of that last offensive series you saw there. You had one near fumble, one bad snap, and then it looked like on that second play, Dane Jacobson kind of bobbled the snap at the quarterback position. There seemed like there was some general confusion on that drive getting the play in to the offense. Another thing to note here, too, especially when it comes to trying to contain the run, the Blue Jays' average starting field position is about the 19-yard line here so far. And so on the flip side of things, Aurora has had really, really short fields, and you're going to see another one here. Obviously, when we resume things here at the end of the quarter, look, those short fields really lends itself to what Carlos Collazo does really well. You're going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive.
Well, I think we lost Grant there, but he gave us a good accounting of what went on. And without a doubt, as he mentioned, Aurora comes out to start the second quarter with a short field. They'll have a 2nd down and 2. The ball at the 22-yard line of the Big Blue. And they're moving into the north end zone is the direction in which Aurora is going right now to start this second quarter. Olsen, a tight end on the right side. Collazo in the backfield. And Twins to the near side. They're going to try. Collazo stops and just pivots on a dime. Doesn't he, Jordan? He got that 2 yards and then some. 1st and 10 inside the 20.
And Aurora just stays committed to those pulling guards. They're going to continue to kind of really go a student body left, student body right as they get as many guys in front of Collazo as possible.
Well, after this play, we will have Aiden, bring you the Aiden Raleigh, our sensational freshman. He'll bring you the first quarter stats. 1st and 10 now, Huskies at the 18. Underway here in the second quarter. Blue Jays have those 3 down linemen trying to stop this Husky attack, and this will be Knuth. Trying to keep this Blue Jay defense honest. He'll cross the 15 down to the 14. A gain of 4, it's 2nd down and 6. And Aiden, as he continues to get prepared here, I'll turn it back to you, Jordan, as they went away from Colazo that time and tried Knuth.
It's almost like a primary and a secondary option right there. Not that Knuth is anything less than Colazo's there, but he's a good compliment to him.
Here's the snap on 2nd down and 6. There goes Colazo diving in there to try to bring him down as the hammer, Jackson Hammer. But he's going to pick up some good yardage again, and in fact, it's going to be enough for a 1st and goal down to the 8-yard line.
And Tim, I got some stats ready.
Yes.
Aiden kind of passed them off to me for the first quarter. 75 total yards for AG, or for 83 for AG, 75 for Aurora. We'll get back to some more of these here in a second.
All right, so 1st and goal from the 8. Aurora got something going here to start this quarter, and they're going to try Colazo again. He just continues to carry the football and to run downhill, as Jordan said, gets inside the 5 down to the 2. It's 2nd and goal.
Aurora showing 65 rush yards in that first quarter to Ashland's 15. Ashland actually has 68 yards in the air to Aurora's 10, so kind of a tale of 2 tapes for Ashland, passing the ball, and Aurora running the ball extremely well right now.
Carlos Colazo has been the workhorse for this Husky team. On 2nd and goal, will they go again? Yes, they do, and he steps in almost untouched as the man-eater Logan Sabota. He got eaten up that time by Colazo, and it's now 13-7. Aurora with the lead early second quarter.
You know, and give credit where credit is due. He runs downhill. You can kind of see him really leaning on his toes before he runs. He's ready to get downhill, and he really wants to punish anyone who he has the opportunity to meet in the hole.
He has a burst, doesn't he, Jordan?
Yeah.
I mean, it is just so quick, but yet he can be exceptionally patient for those holes to open up.
I mean, he really is a gifted athlete, and he's a very skilled running back. I remember watching him during basketball season, and he was playing point guard, and I was like, man, how can someone that big move that fast and that well?
195 pounds, strong, fast. That's why he rushed for over 2,000 yards a year ago. He rushed for 256 last week, and here is the PAT that was partially blocked, and the Blue Jays just touch it down in the end zone, so it'll stay 13-7. Aurora, so the Huskies figure something out, and it might have been hand that ball to Carlos Colazo.
Yeah, and, you know, once again, they had really good field position, but, you know, we can't take anything away from what they did. Good offensive line, good schemes, a lot of pulling guards, a lot of tight ends that are getting in the blocking action. Really, how many big bodies can we get in front of a really big athletic body in Colazo's?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what this Blue Jay offense does as well. They, too, the last couple of possessions, Jordan, have shown some life. What have you seen Nate Tonjes dial up? What is working for this big blue offense?
You know, Tonjes is someone who does a great job building off of what he does every week. So, you know, he's shown a lot of downhill runs. He's shown some fullback runs, but this week he's really getting into that passing game. And in that first quarter, he really passed against the wind, which is incredibly difficult to complete passes at a high clip. He's getting the ball out. He got a seam to Thomas. He got a little bit of a wheel route to Layton. He got another ball to Layton on kind of a bubble. But they've all been really well called. He's used that to kind of get into his traditional running game. They haven't gone away from that in those run-first situations. Really impressed with Tonjes and what he's doing in this first quarter here.
Well, Otto will have to kick now into this win, so it should give Spears, Zimmerman an opportunity to return. As Otto will attack it soccer style here. Just underway in the second quarter, 10:07 to go. 13-7, number 1 ranked Aurora with the lead. And here is a line drive. They're going to kick away from Zimmerman, but it stays inbound, so Upton has to go backwards to field it. But look at Upton go. He'll cross the 30, stays on his feet to the 32. Hard running by Nate Upton, and good field position for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of one of those balls that you got to kind of let drop and see if it's going to go out of bounds there. Nate does a good job fielding it and then just getting north. Actually, I think that might be south, but the phrasing is run north and south.
Yep. You're right. As he was heading towards the Salt Creek, which is south of this Memorial Stadium, and that was Trayshawn Bede who came up and finally got Upton down. Upton, you always have to have 2 or 3 guys bring down Nate Upton. He is such a hard runner, and checking into the game is Leighton West and Logan Sabota, a late entry here for the offense of the Big Blue. At defensive line, Jack Allen, Ethan Burson, Callum Peterson, they have been tough early on. And here's a 1st and 10 for Jacobson. And they're going to try Upton. Starts and then stops and starts again and gets up to the 35. A gain of 3. It's 2nd down and 7.
You know, good little counter action there. Nate does a great job showing some zone footwork, not afraid to push a cutback lane, really patient. That's kind of the difference right now. Colazos is really getting downhill. He's going to make guys pay there. 2 Aurora defenders hit Nate. Beautiful little 4-yard gain. Blue Jays are going to have to fall forward on those if they want to get those tough yards.
And there's that middle linebacker again, Garrett Bullis, with his 3rd or 4th tackle already tonight. Here's an option to the short side of the field, and boy, did Aurora sniff that out, and blasting through there was Staley, who just busted through the line, knocked him down, and here comes the 3rd and long for the Big Blue.
That was a big conversation this week with Coach Jensen. He kind of talked about the chess match going on at outside linebackers for both teams, really varying those blitz patterns and setting the edge so well, but there Aurora gets in and really scuffs that one out.
And there's another player who did not start the game, and Damian Stanley, who busts through and makes a big hit. They have got incredible depth. If I haven't said enough superlatives about this Aurora team, I'll continue on, as Coach Peters said, where he's got a deep team, a lot of guys on that roster who can play. So here comes the 3rd down and 13. Blue Jays back to the 30. Will Aurora pin their ears back and bring the blitz? And they do, and the Blue Jays going to run option, and it's a pitch behind Upton. Who will get to it? It's bobbled around. Everyone's jumping on top of it. Aurora picks it up, and they scamper in for the score.
Fumble on the play, recovered by the Huskies.
Dane kind of tries to do the heads-up thing there and tackle the guy that's going for the ball. Scrum ensues, and Aurora just ends up with it. Definitely a tough break to open the 2nd quarter right there, but, hey, you're going to get that ball back and get another opportunity to use the win to score.
You're exactly right, and that's the way they have to look at it. But, again, the turnovers have been hurting the Blue Jays as Trayshawn Bede actually picked that loose pitch up and rumbled into the end zone. And so Aurora will set it down. They now lead 19-7. That is the 10th fumble by the Blue Jays in just 2 games and, what, full quarter played. So let's call it 9 quarters. They have now lost 8 of those fumbles. And so it looks like they're going to go for 2 here since they missed the PAT on the previous touchdown. And they're going to try a screen to the opposite side of the field, and that is a great play call to make it 21-7. Nicely done as they convert on the 2-pointer. And Aurora now flexing their muscles here, Jordan, with 8:24 to go in the first half.
And, we kind of talked about those. Grant mentioned the self-inflicted wounds. One of the touchdowns came from 2 botched snaps in a row that lost us 11 yards, gave us bad field position, punting into the wind. One came from a punt that got really high up in the air and then spun back and gave them really good field position. There it's just Dane being a little bit more patient as he goes in for that pitch to Nate, and it results in a fumble. So definitely not that Aurora is superior in any sense of the form. Obviously they've performed unbelievably well when they've had the ball in good field position. Blue Jays just kind of got to screw that head on a little tighter because they've shown the ability to drive the ball, they've shown the ability to run and to pass and to get stops. The difference right now might be some of those little mental opportunities.
And by the way, Brian Boogie Mack, he's at home. Hasn't been feeling the best, but feeling better every day. And he just gave us a shout out, but he also said he thought it looked like it's possible that play could have been ruled dead. But we don't have instant replay. We'll never know. But I'll tell you what we saw from here was the ball never really possessed by anyone from our vantage point. Aurora did a great job picking it up and making it a 21-7 game. And so, Brian, get better at home. Can't wait to see you back here at Memorial Stadium and on the golf course for sure. Even though he's kind of mastered the foot wedge there, Jordan. But it's good to hear from him. Here comes Zimmerman at the 20. Drake gets hit at the 33 and pushed back. Nice coverage that time by Aurora. And now the Blue Jays down 2 scores midway through the 2nd quarter. And let's see if they've got some moxie to come out here to start this drive, as it was Maddox Egger who brought him down.
I wouldn't say by any means that I need to see a touchdown from the Blue Jays here. I just like to see a little momentum. Let's see a couple runs get downhill. Let's see a couple passes completed. Get a first down or 2 and kind of see where we're going. And Tim, to your point about Boogie being a good golfer, I was playing in a scramble with him one time. He's on the other team, and he pieced hole 12 at AGC, a par 5 together in 2. So, Boogie, I'll never forget that, man.
Oh, he will watch our broadcasts every week now because of that. So, Here we go. Blue Jays need to answer. At their own 31, Jacobson play fake. And big pressure by the Huskies. Jacobson's just got to down it. He was under tremendous duress, and there's that middle linebacker again, Garrett Bellis. 2nd and 10.
You know, Blue Jays kind of trying to show that wheel route again that they hit West with on earlier. Logan Sabota coming from that H-back, that fullback position. But Noose was all over it, 11 for Aurora. He kind of sniffed that thing out, and Dane just took that opportunity to throw that thing away.
So here we go, 2nd down and 10 from the 31. On this beautiful early fall evening here in Ashland, Nebraska. Number 1 versus number 3. And a long time coming here to get this play in for the Big Blue. But Jackson Ham, the center, will move up over the football. And they're going to go traditional I set with Sabota and Zimmerman. And here's a slant route that's deflected at the line of scrimmage, but nearly caught by Thomas Spears, who is absolutely a sensational football player. But it's 3rd down and 10.
And, you know, you don't want to get hung up on a set of players from the opposing team, but they're Noosed and Colazzo's just subbed back into the game at safety. So that's the starting quarterback and the starting running back, 2 really good athletes coming downhill. Ball was tipped to the line of scrimmage there, but even if Thomas had caught it, Noose was coming downhill to be that second guy and kind of cover him up.
Well, a week ago, the Wahoo Warriors put a lot of pressure on Dane Jacobson. And he's had some time tonight, but on that last pass attempt, the Huskies all over him. So here comes the 3rd and 10. Play fake, Dane looking. Again, there's pressure, and he will roll. He's being chased by Allen. He'll dump it off across the middle, and it's incomplete as Colton Cerveny had it. And are they going to rule that a fumble? They are. They're going to say Cerveny had it and then coughed it up, but he fell back on it at the 39-yard line. So here comes a 4th and short, and you have a feeling Coach Thompson will have no choice but to punt this thing away.
You know, 4th and short, you have a lot of confidence in your guys, but when you have that wind and Aurora showing an ability to push the ball when they're in 4-down territory, you know, I don't see a punt not happening here. But even there, Dane, as he rolled out, he kind of had Thomas on a little corner scramble route. But that pressure is making him kind of flush the pocket a little harder than maybe he wanted to. And good play by Cerveny, almost got it. And I was wrong.
Yeah, Jordan, I was just going to say, what do we know? On 4th down and 2, they're rolling the dice, the Blue Jays are. Let's see if they go hard count here. As they're looking over to the sideline, Blue Jays have been very effective at hard counts and getting defenses to jump. So he gets a different play call on this 4th and 2. There's a hard count again. We've got 23 seconds, a lot of time on this play clock, as he will put his hands on his hips, and now Coach Thompson calls a timeout. He's going to take a timeout with 7:22. Couldn't get the Huskies to jump, and it looks like that was his plan of action.
You know, he's got the wind the rest of the way out. These are passing situations, 3 timeouts left. Why not see if you can't get Aurora to either jump or bite on those hard counts that they're so good at?
Well, they are exceptionally disciplined. Look, Jordan, you talked about this. You got familiar with Aurora a few years ago when you were student teaching, and you said they are just so fundamentally sound, from Coach Peterson all the way down.
Yeah. So when I was at Hastings and we had our team camps, we would sponsor a team. And my senior year, I actually sponsored Aurora, and I was so amazed that just they got to practice early. You know, we had our schedules that we were supposed to follow with their coaches. And the name's kind of slipping me right now. Is the old Aurora coach. He went to Papillion La Vista. Just so disciplined out there early. They were throwing hundreds and hundreds of bubble routes, you know, maybe only to use that once or twice in a game, but to show that dedication to skill, to show that dedication to finding different ways to get the ball out to guys in space. It's a good program, you know, and the kids grow up loving their high school football because they found a lot of success.
Well, they've been good for many years, and Coach Peterson, what a job he's done, and he's forcing the Blue Jays now to punt away on this 4th and 2. Sabota will use the win, and he gets into this. Well over the head of Stairs. It will land at the 13, and the Blue Jay defense will have a chance to really back Aurora up as the Blue Jays touch it down at the 5-yard line. 1st and 10 Huskies deep in their own territory.
And this is huge because wind in the face, those things are still blowing. You can't hear it in my mic anymore, but the wind did pick back up again. You know, this really limits your play calling because you can't afford to get into a 2nd and 10 from this position. You can't really afford to take a shot on 2nd down here. You kind of need to get a couple first downs, and maybe as a defense, you can kind of get up on your tippy toes a little bit and work downhill closer to the line of scrimmage. Really focus down on Colazos and try to make Aurora show the ability to be multiple and open up that pass game a little bit.
Big opportunity here for the Blue Jays. They're down 21-7. Aurora bring out their offense from that sideline, as Knust has been terrific tonight. That dual threat. He can pass, he can run. And he'll be standing at the 1-yard line with Collazo behind him. Here's the snap, and there's Collazo. And he busts across the 5, across the 10. And I'll tell you, that is just power running from Carlos Collazo. And I believe that will be second down and short for Aurora.
And they're just kind of covering guys up. Even there, you see one of their offensive linemen getting to second level, kind of getting into it a little bit with Logan Sabota. But it really shows that commitment to covering up line 1 and then working off and being aggressive with the middle backers from the Huskies.
There's Colton Cerveny on the stop. Second down and 2. And this is exactly what Coach Thompson didn't want. He said, if our defense is effective, we've got to see some 2nd and 8s. They haven't seen many tonight. And here comes Collazo. This time he'll show his prowess on the outside. Cuts up, look out. Here could be the speed of Carlos Collazo. Drake Zimmerman knocks him out of bounds at the 48-yard line. But not until Collazo has another big run.
You know, even sometimes, you know, guys, running backs need to run outside or they need to run upfield. I'm telling you, Collazo is running up at full speed and out at full speed at the same time. Really taking that edge, but not taking the edge of the line of scrimmage, almost 2 to 3 yards upfield. And then add a little zone aspect where Newts could pull it and come upfield, and this is a really sound rushing attack.
Grand Island Northwest held him to 134 yards in game 1, and you just wonder how. Is Canoose now on the quarterback keeper. He will play fake and get a short yard. Landon Sabota in there, as well as Ty Carey. And Luke Lambert led the charge. It's second down and 9.
And even there, that's kind of their counter. That's when they want to give Colazos a break or show you a second option you have to respect. That's Newts. You know, pretty well covered up, but he still gained positive yards. Got 2 there.
You just got to hope the Blue Jays can keep him out of the end zone. It would be so tough to come back from 3 scores down against the #1 ranked Aurora Huskies. And on second down and 8, pistol set. Blue Jays bring everyone up into the box. They try to get Collazo. They miss him behind the line of scrimmage, but finally bring him down at the 45. He'll get a couple more. Here comes a 3rd down and 5 for the Huskies as Jackson Ham came up from that middle backer position to make the tackle.
You know, and even though he slid off the first tackler that was looking for a little jersey grab and hold up, that commitment to rallying to the football and covering up holes really kind of slowed him down and only gained 3 there.
Let's call it 3rd and 6. Collazo, that familiar face in the backfield. And the Blue Jays have Ty Carey as one outside backer as well as Colton Cerveny. And here's the snap. They're going to pitch it out to Collazo. Can he get the edge? He does. And sidesteps his way near the 1st down marker. He ran half of that run, Jordan, running sideways. And I believe he got the 1st and 10. He did.
You know, and as a color guy, I don't want to get caught up on themes, but I want to help paint the picture. You know, the footwork, the body balance of this young man at 5'10", 5'11", 190 pounds is unbelievable. Kind of a little jump cut there. He gets his feet taken out and just manages to, as he falls, let his feet push off one more time and get 8 yards.
There's Thomas Spears and Drake Zimmerman on the stop, but not until Collazo go out to the 38-yard line. And they're going to send a man in motion, and they're going to forward pass on almost what we would call a jet sweep. And there's a good open field tackle. Guess who? There's Thomas Spears, who came up from that safety position, 140 pounds. But you feel every bit of that 140 pounds when he hits you.
You know, I was talking to Dieterding again, and we were kind of talking about the role that Thomas is going to play this week. And I said ankle biter, and Dieterding said, no, he's an ankle breaker. He's going to come through, and he's going to really take you out and force you to either stop your momentum and try to cut or power through him when he goes that low.
Boy, he's sure fun to watch. Just a sophomore, and he loves the game of football. There is no doubt. Loves it. So here we go on second down and 11. What will Canoose do here? Looking at 3 down linemen. And he wants to run option. He'll keep it. Got some running room. Tucks it. Runs. He's hit. But he'll get good yardage. It's going to bring up about a 3rd down and about 4 for the Huskies at the Blue Jay 32. There's Logan Sabota.
And that's a big play from Aurora, but good job by the Blue Jays staying gap sound. Nobody, Collazo, his guy, the running back responsibility guy on the option, didn't try to bite down. You know, they just kind of got what they got with Newts running there, because as you start kind of maybe denying your options or not staying home in your responsibilities versus an option, that's when you really get gashed for the big play.
Lambert, Buck, and Sabota. There's 3 down linemen here on 3rd down and 3 from the 32. Canoose is just going to follow his big running back. He'll get a short gain to the 30, but it is going to be a 4th down and a long 2 for the Huskies.
Another thing to really look at Aurora here as they get in these short down situations. Aurora doesn't use a fullback. They have 2 tight ends in the game a lot of times, maybe sub one out, use a 3rd tight end. But they're going to use Colazos kind of as that fullback to get out in front of Noose. You know, it's interesting to watch these things. It's interesting to watch how these teams operate. But even as I look out here, Aurora just 2 really good-sized, big tight ends that can kind of run, throw, catch, and block.
28-yard line is the mark for Canoose in this offense. Blue Jays pack it in tight over the center on this 4th and 2. Big moment here in this football game. High snap, Colazo off the right side. He's easily got the first down across the 25. Still going, stops, and finally gets knocked out of bounds at around the 13. And listen, this isn't fun for me as a Blue Jay fan, but to watch Carlos Colazo run and that O-line play, this is spectacular for this Aurora offense.
You know, obviously our goal up here isn't to be objective, but we can really appreciate and talk about and express how much we appreciate watching these talented young men. And Colazos is all that in a bag of chips. I mean, he's the real deal running back. He's a next level running back, and he has a good old line in front of him. You know, we're not as familiar with their size and their skills as maybe our boys, but he's a very talented running back.
Well, when you say he's a bag of chips, he's a supersized bag of chips. Boy, he is value-packed, and here he goes. Starts in. Now he's going to try to reverse his course, get about 3 yards. Here's a 2nd down and 7 down to about the 11-yard line.
You know, when I look back at comparisons, there's a young man from Crete that ended up going to Northwest Missouri State. His name was Brock Sherman. Actually wrestled against Jake Nicholson back in like 2010, 2011. And I remember trying to tackle him, and just really, it hurt. It hurt every time I hit him, and Carlos Colazos is that exact same type of player.
And Thomas Spears collided with him that time, but again, a gain of 3. It's 2nd down and 7 from the Blue Jay 11. We've got 1:40 to go here in the first quarter. Blue Jays down 14, and now Canoose is going to follow Colazo, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at around the 6-yard line. So he'll get 5. It's a 3rd and short. And you can tell Colazo wanted that football there. I had the binocs on, and he almost looked back at Canoose saying, "You're not giving me that ball." Isaac Carson came up and made the stop.
Yeah, and it also shows kind of the skill and the ability of Noose as well. I mean, to run that ride fake for about 5, 6, 7 yards as you work laterally, waiting for his read to show itself. Colazos looks back, and then he puts his foot down and kind of puts helmet to helmet with Logan Sabota. You know, these boys know what they're doing, and they do it well. They know what they're reading.
Isaac Carson had the stop. Here's a big 3rd down and 2. And they're going to try Colazo. Just power up over the center. But we've got, I think, motion on the right side of the line. So we'll bring up a 3rd down and 7. And the Blue Jays desperately trying to stop the Huskies here with 1:27 to go here in the first half.
This would be a huge stop. And, you know, this is kind of one of those situations where Colazos has really just kind of got the ball and just said, I'm going to run downhill as fast as I can. Down 2 scores right here with 1:27 left to go in the second quarter and the half. This would be a huge stop.
Well, the Blue Jays need it. At 3rd down and 7, to trail by 3 scores, as I mentioned earlier, would be extremely difficult against this Huskies team. They just last year played in the Class B state championship game, and now they're in Class C1 for the 2nd time in the last 4 years. So here we go on 3rd down and 7. As Canoose will survey that defense. Crowd has gone a little bit quiet here at Memorial Stadium. Here's a play fake. Canoose is looking for Holiday, and he'll overthrow him right at the 1-yard line. Good coverage by Drake Zimmerman, a way to stay disciplined, not bite on that play fake.
Yeah, he stayed home, and even though the play fake got him a little bit, he was ready. He knew his responsibility, and the second he saw that ball being pulled, he took off and he sprinted for Holiday. Kind of followed Drake there as a guy who's been watching the Aurora tight ends a little bit, and he did a phenomenal job.
Well, Aurora calls a timeout to talk things over. 1:03 to go here in the first half. It's 21-7. Aurora leading, and they've got a 4th and 7 at the 11. I don't want to over-dramatize any one play, but my goodness, if the Blue Jays can shut them down here, that takes tremendous momentum into that halftime locker room for the Big Blue.
Yeah, and you know, coaching so many times is a game of what ifs. You know, so let's say Aurora does find an opportunity to get in the end zone here. That's fine. You know, I believe, if I remember correct, Ashland's going to have to kick to open the half. Am I right on that?
the Blue Jays will be kicking off. Correct?
So, once again, so now you're down 3 scores, giving them the ball at halftime. I'd much rather be down 2 scores, building off that momentum, coming into the halftime and really rallying your kids and saying, hey, this is our time and we can kind of build off this a little bit, versus game planning for being down 3 scores, giving up that ball.
Well, will they bring out Alex Wheeler to try a field goal? They will not. They are going to go for it here on 4th down and 7. I was talking to the KRGI play-by-play announcer before the game. He said, we have not tried a field goal in a long time, and they won't here on 4th down and 7. So here we go. As the Blue Jays, can they show their resolve here? Rolling out is Canuse. They have time. He will fire to the corner of the end zone. A stare, I believe, and they call a touchdown. What a catch by the talented Carson Stair in tough coverage, and a terrific throw by Canuse.
And sometimes you have to just literally tip your hat. I mean, he had 2 guys all over him. Newts came downhill, threw a rocket. The Blue Jays were not surprised at all. That's their state champion triple jumper out there. And Newt absolutely fired a rocket. We talked earlier about how he threw that one a little bit too hard. He threw that ball on that out route the exact same speed, and it hit, maybe help me out on the name here a little bit, the triple jumper right in the stomach.
Carson Stair, absolutely. Boy, he is a talent, and now they're going to try to make this 28-7 as Wheeler will come in, and we've got a whistle, and this will be, I believe, motion on Aurora. So that will send Wheeler back 5 more yards. One team was going to go into halftime with tremendous momentum. If the Blue Jays had held there on 4th and goal, they would have gone in with tremendous momentum. Now Aurora, of course, is going to have that 3-score lead, and Coach Peterson's going to have a very happy locker room here as he has a chance to talk to them in about a minute. As Wheeler awaits the snap, they get it down. His kick is up. Wheeler's boot is no good, wide right. So it stays 27-7. But Jordan, this Aurora team, boy, they are as good as advertised.
Yeah, and they just, they're multiple. Obviously, they lean on that run game pretty well. Colazos is a top player in our class. He's a top player and probably work your way up to be. And, you're going to see some good running backs. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but he's the real deal. Good O-line. They're multiple. They have the ability to throw. They just really are deep and solid, and they have playmakers everywhere.
So 2018 was the last time the Blue Jays lost a regular season game. That was against Lincoln Christian. And tonight, they have not faced this kind of a deficit, 27-7 in many, many years. And so it'll be interesting to see with Coach Thompson how he, of course, gets the attention of his team, keeps them focused here, gets them focused on the bigger picture here, down 27-7.
And I know when the schedules came out, you have to kind of put some games out that you'd like to have. And I remember Coach Thompson saying that I absolutely want to play the best. Maybe in past years we've seen the best teams at the end of the season, had a good long time to tune up during the regular season. He was very open about wanting to start with the gauntlet, and he got exactly that.
So here we go. Otto will get into this. It'll be a very short boot into a 20-mile-an-hour wind. Zimmerman will field at the 25, and they'll bring him down immediately at the 35-yard line. So, again, very good kick coverage by Aurora. Last week, by the way, that was Devin Danielson on the tackle. Just last week, the Huskies gave up a touchdown return on a kickoff. And so you wondered Coach Peterson would be dialed into that. So far tonight, they haven't given an inch on their special teams. And so here comes Jacobson. Will Coach Thompson take it in down 20? Or will he try to put something on the board here with a very stiff wind at his back? And they're going to try to air it out. This is going to be Spears on the bubble screen. Good block downfield by Isaac Carson. And Spears will kill the clock as he steps out of bounds at the 43.
Great block on the outside by Carson, using those long arms to push the receiver down. Thomas there kind of making the smart play, maybe could have got a couple more yards, but making sure, guaranteeing that he gets out of bounds and kills that clock with 47 seconds left to go.
Carson split to the far sideline. Here comes Colton Cerveny and Leighton West on the near sideline. 47 seconds to go on this 2nd down and 3. And again, a fumble snap by Jacobson. He will bubble screen it out again to Spears. Spears tiptoes down the sideline and stops the clock again. They're keeping it all underneath.
Yep, and I'm a building guy, so they've shown 2 passes to Thomas on that side. They're trying to get that attention over there. We got Leighton West on the near side. He's an absolute speedster. Isaac Carson, kind of our long catch, touchdown catch guy so far this season on the near side as well. Thomas keeping that single coverage over there.
So the Blue Jays move the chains to their own 45 with 42 seconds to go here. 2-minute offense on full display, and they're going to run it to Upton. Try to catch Aurora napping, but now they'll have to burn a timeout.
Ball carried by number 32,
They call it right away as Coach Thompson came running back from around the 20-yard line to call that timeout. So here comes the second down, and about 7 for the Blue Jays. There's Jack Allen, who's having a heck of a night.
Yeah, and even right here, so Jack Allen, you couldn't be more correct. He's one of the tight ends that I continue talking about, him and Holiday. They are really, really good, really, really athletic. Sometimes when we're down 4, we want to all play Madden and run 4 verts every single play. Thompson doing a great job here, using a run and an obvious pass situation, burning a timeout to give himself a 2nd and 5. 2nd and 10's a hard down to be at. 3rd and 10's even harder. 4th and 10 means we're going to punt. So, why is Coach Thompson running here? Because he wants to get into 2nd and 5, get another first down, continue to take advantage of those passing opportunities, and maybe get ourselves in a situation where we could strike here late.
Well, I'll tell you, Dane Jacobson's got a tremendous arm. He was a great baseball player, and he can really air it out. So you know that they'll probably take at some point a shot downfield, but as Jordan said, really good strategy here by Tonjes and Thompson as they inch up the field to the 49-yard line. As Jacobson has Upton in the game, and he'll roll. Now stays in the pocket, has time. He's going to throw deep. He's got Spears. Oh, he missed him at the 25. Oh, he had Thomas Spears. And you don't see Dane miss a receiver too often.
Yeah, and so that was a double move from Spears. He's going to get upfield to about 12 yards. He's going to work out in the corner, and then he's going to come back across the field on a post. So Dane actually lets go of that ball before Thomas had made his break. You have to throw that ball at that time, otherwise pressure's coming at you. What looks like a terrible mistake is just actually a pretty hard play to complete strategy-wise.
And Dane Jacobson, he's completed 65% of his passes this year, but just a little off that time on Thomas Spears. So here comes a 3rd down and 6 with 29 seconds to go here in the first half. Blue Jays down by 20. And they play fake, and then they're going to try a little forward pass to Sabota, almost a reverse. And Sabota, boy, Aurora not fooled by it. They come up and make the stop. Olsen finished him off, but Damian Stanley got him around the ankles, and now the Blue Jays will just let this clock run down.
Yeah, unless Aurora wants to burn a timeout and stop things here, they're just going to let it kind of die out and go to halftime.
Well, this game was 7-7 at one point. Aurora scored first. Now a timeout with 1 second on the clock by the Blue Jays. And maybe they will try to air this thing out.
Oh.
One play.
Who called it?
The Blue Jays did.
Why not? Why not?
Wait a minute. Jordan, wait a minute. That was not the look on your face. The look on your face said something else. But you recovered quickly to say, why not? I like that.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I started looking outside, how many people are here. I was trying to think, how am I going to talk about our concession stand, when Brad comes up here to talk for a little bit, and then just completely caught me off guard.
Well, let's walk through this. I'm thinking that Coach Thompson did this to say, look, we don't want them to have the ball. We've got a great strong-arm quarterback in Jacobson. We got a strong wind behind us. We got speed and Spears and West. Hey, let's run a couple of fade routes and see if we can't throw it in the end zone and get a score here.
I mean, my lips are pursed. I'm kind of rolling my eyes. My hands are up. Why not? It's just literally, why not? Why not just give it a crack? I know there's a chance of an interception, but, hey, put Thomas on one side, put 3 extremely fast guys on the other, and see what we can do.
There we go, and that might be exactly it, as Jacobson will have Upton behind him. 4 receivers, you have West and Spears, and they can burn some speed. Now, Aurora counters with a timeout. Yeah. As Coach Peterson says, all right, I think we know what they're up to. Now let's set our defense. And this is a chess match between 2 terrific head coaches.
Yeah, and so they showed a 1-high set there with 2 kind of safety slot guys on the outside. The Blue Jays would come out in a true full vert. The thought is that one of those kind of slot guys that are walked up could hurt him. I don't know. You just kind of as a coach here, you kind of think, what would I call in Madden right now? What would I call? Would I call a hook and ladder when I just call it 4 verts? Would I try to have Carson jump up and tip it down to Zimmerman? I don't know. I'm actually very excited to see what happens here.
Well, I chuckle because I only know Madden as one of the greatest color commentators that ever lived. I've never played Madden, but you've got all kinds of pass plays apparently you can run.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Like, I'm trying to be the John Madden. It's not going super well. But no.
You're doing great, partner. You're doing great. I love it. Well, let's see what they dial up here. You know Nate Tonjes, he is creative. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a hook and ladder or anything like that. But I have a feeling they're just going to try to get one of these speedsters down the field. Let's see. Here's the snap. Dane rolls out. Going to try to get back in the pocket. He's pointing downfield. He's going to throw. He's got Leighton West complete at the 10 to 5. He's knocked out of bounds. Oh, Coach Thompson, Coach Tonjes. I love these guys. They almost got it to work with 1 second, and that's why you dial it up.
Why not? Kind of one of those deals. Why not just give it a run and see what happens? Good play.
Wow. Leighton West with a big run, and we'll have Coach Thompson with Grant Henson in a few moments here as he'll talk to the head coach. And Jordan, your thoughts here about this first half? The Blue Jays down 27-7. Not the way it went, as Jordan actually is going to work with some cameramen. We'll just recap it real quick. It was 7-7. It was a heck of a football game in the Blue Jays, down 14-7. They were not able to execute an option. The pitch to Nate Upton was fumbled, and Aurora didn't just fall on it, but they scooped it up and scored from about 20 yards out. And that really got the game out of hand. And then, of course, Aurora put another touchdown on late. So here we go here as Grant Hanson's looking for Coach Thompson. And we'll go to him. And Grant, we're going to let you guys have it here as Coach Thompson has got his team up into that locker room as Coach now has to have a last-minute discussion with the officials. Grant, go ahead and take it away with Coach.
Hey, Coach. Well, you're down 20 here at the break, and you've had some self-inflicted wounds. You struggled to contain Collazo. What's your message to the troops here at the half? It's just respond. Okay, we want to respond at the highest level we can. There's plays to make out there. We got to keep fighting for them. We know what we're against, and we knew we were against a tough team. We also thought that we could throw some punches too. So we just gotta regroup and come out with a response that is greater than all the adversity we've seen. What needs to change and be corrected on the offensive side of the football? Well, we kind of had a couple missed assignments. They make you miss assignments. Don't get me wrong. We had a couple missed assignments. And we had a couple missed opportunities. So we just got to keep trusting each other. We're fighting. We're not going to quit. But, yeah, it's tough. But I know Coach Tonjes, those guys will get that figured out. I got to help the D-line out a little bit. We're kind of getting washed down. We started getting better at that last drive. Had a couple fourth downs. We just could not get them off the field. But we'll keep working. Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Hey. Wanted to say, I know Josh Kimball's out there. He's kind of had some issues lately. Love you, Josh. We're fighting for you. Hopefully you're feeling better. And Amy at home, love you. There you go. There's Coach Thompson. Back up to you, Tim.
All right, Grant, thanks very much. And it's time for halftime, and that means Brad Jacobson's up here to talk a little bit about a pretty darn special night. Of course, our principal here at Ashland-Greenwood. And Brad, what an incredible scene here to start this game, and you did a great job of really helping to organize this. The 75th birthday at Memorial Stadium. Yeah. And talk about when the whole preparation for this night started for you.
Well, probably, I go back, for sure a year ago is when we started digging into it a little bit. And last summer I really started in earnest at getting, finding that's when I was able to find the blueprint, and Craig Pease had kind of given me a hint on where that might be. But really, I think it goes back to, for me, probably about the year 2000 or 2001 when Reed Schwartz was one of our assistant coaches, and we were trying to get something going here a little bit, and we thought we had a pretty special place here. We hadn't had very good football for a while, unfortunately, and so there's a plaque down here at the top of the stairs that's right to the right of before you go down the middle aisle. And so we had, in one of our pregame talks, we had a conversation with our players about that plaque and what this stadium was built for and what it means to the community, and that the community built it in honor of guys that paid the ultimate sacrifice in World War I and World War II. And they just did it. They just decided to do it, and Doc Ziegenbein kind of led the charge as a board member. And so we've, since then, I think that's our players still enter the stadium from the top, and I know our coaches mentioned that to them again tonight. That's part of the reason we do that. Is not
By
that
the way, you were the head coach at the time.
I was, yeah. And so I think it's it's tight. There's not enough room. There's a lot of things about a place like this that a person would say, why do you still play there? But I think for those folks that have been from this community for a long time, and I've been here now over half my life, so I think I'm from here now too. I think, Tim, I wasn't born here, but I think I think I've been here over half my life now. This is a special place, and I think the story that this tells, Doc Ziegenbein's quote about, the time is now, we can do this, and I mean, just able to let's pull this together. Around the country, many people were building projects. They were, works, the WPA, I think it was WPA works projects, right? That they were putting people to work, coming back from the war, getting out of a depression, and they built stadiums. But this one was just built because the people in this community decided we're going to do this. And Doc Ziegenbein, from what I've heard, he taught music lessons on the side, and that was kind of where his passion was music. He wasn't a football guy necessarily, but he had a passion for kids, had a passion for education, and he had a passion for this community. And I think that leadership, and then it just if you haven't stopped down and looked at we have the original blueprint. The leadership of that group, Tim, saved every name of every volunteer. And then when they were done, they wrote it on the back in alphabetical order. So anybody with last name A and then B, and they're all written on the back. And if it was donations, what they donated. I mean, it's an absolute treasure.
Well, I got to tell you, an incredible story about how this got built. But walk us through. Yes, Doc Ziegenbein got behind it, said, let's do it. He got the community going. But then, bottom line is, Brad, it took, again, just a host of volunteers to get this done. And that's kind of been something that really has been a part of the Ashland community, hasn't it?
Well, I sure think so. I mean, that's something I certainly have noticed from being around here is that there's definitely, when people are in need or this community steps up and they do things and they support education. And every time we interview anybody for a job at school, one of the things that we do is as staff members, we share what we like about it. And one of the things that I've always said is that the support of the school district and the support around here is second to none. And and that you could say, look at the results of bond issues, and there's lots of things, but I mean, we're at one tonight. We're at and I had somebody say, well, have they had to do a lot of concrete work on this thing? Because, over 75 years, concrete fails. And I said, the sidewalk along the bottom is really all we've done. I mean, is there cracks here and there? Sure, it's concrete. But when they did it, 75, how many people have 75-year-old concrete at their houses right now? Probably not very many. And this thing is still standing like it was when it was built.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you look at it today, yes, there are a few amenities that are different today. But for the most part, I think if someone, and you had 3 players that came back tonight, my guess is they took a look around, and boy, the memories just came back because there's a lot that is still the same here at Memorial Stadium.
Well, I sure hope so. I know, I didn't get as much time to visit with them today as I would have liked. I did talk to them all on the phone leading up to this, which was really enlightening for me. Their families that were with them all really said, boy, this, Dad's been talking about this, for 2 weeks, or that's, he keeps calling me and he keeps telling. So I think it's been really a good positive thing for their whole families. And I think there's grandkids and great grandkids and all kinds of things that were involved tonight. And which is pretty cool. Some of them are still sitting over there on the berm and lawn chairs. They're staying here. And, I hope when I'm in my 90s, I want to go sit at a high school football game and watch the whole thing. That's pretty impressive.
Well, let's talk about how you found some of these players. And I love that you had their jersey numbers as well. You got number 41, right tackle, Tom Dulesky. I had an opportunity to go to high school with his grandchildren. Running back, number 9, Dick Burkmeister. Mel Bundy, Burkmaster, by the way. Mel Bundy, who wore number 33, he was a left guard. First off, how'd you go about tracking them down, and also talk about their enthusiasm for being here tonight?
Yeah, just a couple more. I talked to Frank Beckman, and he's in Omaha. He's with his wife is ill right now, so he wasn't able to come. I also talked to Bill Scott, is also, and his name is familiar in Ashland, and Ruth, his wife Ruth. They just couldn't pull it together to get here tonight, but I talked to them a little bit as well. Ron Schulte, that was in our Legion color guard tonight, he was actually, I think he might have been a freshman on that team, so wasn't on the original roster, or the roster that we have, because he wasn't an upperclassman, but a lot of connections, so that program happened to be with the blueprint that we found, and we have a file in the basement of the elementary school. It's a fireproof safe that we've kept all the plans from all the projects over the years. And so I think it was Craig Pease, but I don't know that. Somebody had the forethought to laminate that thing. And it was, I mean, it would have been gone by now, no question. It is really brittle, but it's laminated, so now you can see it. And the program was with it. There's that 100-year anniversary book of our town, of the town of Ashland, that had some information. Tom Dulesky right away found his 1948 yearbook. One of the guys tonight in the Legion or the Color Guard brought his 1947 yearbook, so would have had some pictures of when things were maybe just starting. So we put that program, one of the first things we did is a picture of the program on Facebook, and we put it out there a couple times. I didn't really know how to get to people. I really thought there would have been a good number of these guys that weren't with us anymore. I mean, if you're a senior in 1947, you're 92 or 93 years old likely now. And some of them are older because of the war, even if they did go fight and come back. So, it was, and it started to trickle in. Marilyn Wright, many of us that have been around here for a long time, Marilyn is very active in the Historical Society. She was amazing. She found people, found them on Facebook, and then as I got a hold of players, Tom Dulesky knew how to get a hold of a couple people. Janice Risen, my mother-in-law, Marilyn Craven, and you just kind of started to find people that said, Mary Lou Beckman here in town is a good friend of my mother-in-law. So she said, hey, I just saw Frank. And so we just trying to reach out to people and find him. And it was a lot of fun.
Well, and it was incredible to see the sights tonight. It was much more than the visuals that we saw tonight. It is about the birth of Memorial Stadium and why it was built. But still, to have the Color Guard here tonight, to have the community, it was so impressive. And I got to give you huge kudos and the school kudos for really honoring what this is all about tonight. And I'm sure you've had a lot of comments about that.
Yeah, it was great. And I think, that's, it's emotional for me, not because, I don't really have family that fought in the war. Didn't have anybody that passed, in World War II, that kind of thing. And but I think one of the people that,
take a second.
Yeah,
absolutely. I understand.
Coach Schwartz, as a social studies teacher, his passion was World War II, and as my assistant, he was really, he made sure that message stayed as part of what we delivered to our teams in those days. And I know when he continued on with Barry and Thompson after that, and honoring people. And I think, again, that this probably doesn't come together if it's just a volunteer effort. I think there needed to be something, and why not? And, the original account was called, the War Memorial Stadium, I think was what it was first called. And I think even on the blueprint, it says War Memorial on it, so that the word war is, when the final title passed over to the school, it's been Ashland or Memorial Stadium ever since then. So, I just think it's important. That was such a unique time, and not that I was alive, but boy, that in our nation's history, to lose that many people, overseas like that, and then that pride to pull it back together, and I think that's that certainly speaks to a spirit, a community spirit, and you just can't replace. Ron Schulte explained to me, and so he's a teenager. He remembers the cement mixer being at the top of the steps here, and they had planks, and so then they would push the planks down full of cement, the wheelbarrows, and they had forms, and they built it from the bottom up and then he goes, we drive down, we dump the wheelbarrow, we push her back up, and it was just a constant beehive of people going up and down, pushing wheelbarrows full of concrete. You think about the labor of something like that they didn't have the pump trucks with the booms that reach,
Right.
They hauled every stitch of concrete in a wheelbarrow up and down these hills.
Well,
absolutely incredible spirit.
Absolute labor of love. And
yeah.
You see, even with you, of course, tonight, the emotion it evokes in people. And, of course, Reed Schwartz, a big part of that, too, who we know. He loved everything about Friday night, but he also loved his country. He loved, obviously what this place stood for.
He was a Navy vet, so he was involved in the Navy, and so that's probably for my own personal connection. But again, I've been here long enough, I know Ron Mishek, that was part of the Legion, and I talked to J.R. Sikota because his dad, Jim Sikota Sr., who's not with us anymore, he was the guy that was leading the first color guard back in 1947 when they came out as part of the dedication. Ron Schulte. I mean, there's just so many people that we've come connected with over the years that it's special for them too, because they've been coming here for a long time. Their kids played here. Many of them played here, and it's just really been a really cool experience.
I think one of the things that stood out to me too is the Ashland-Greenwood Wahoo rivalry, Saunders County battle has gone on for so long, and of course, appropriate that those two teams tangled that night.
Yeah,
in
how about that?
1947 in the opener. The Blue Jays won a shutout. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it was a shutout. We've in the yearbook it said 20-0, and I did have one report that I read. That was from a newspaper that said 58-0. So I'm not sure exactly
We'll
the
take
score,
58-0.
but the 0 was common, so we're going to call it a shutout, right? I also want to get tip of the hat to Coach Kyle Peterson and Aurora. They didn't need to be part of this tonight. They could have stayed in the locker room with all of the pomp and circumstance. And I contacted them last week, and I said, the original day it said Wahoo and the Ashland teams were both on the field for the dedication, which I thought was really cool. So I just invited them to be part of it, and it wasn't even like they would have never even not thought of not doing it. And they were respectful, and they clapped when our 1947 players were announced. And I just give a tip of the hat to Aurora too, and Coach Peterson for being part of this to make this even a more special night.
Yeah, he's a great coach and a class act. I found
Yes,
out
sir.
this week. Very,
Yeah.
very helpful. So, Brad, look, a lot of people, they can't necessarily see it, especially when the lights come on, but the location of this place as well. Down by the Salt Creek, you've got tree lined on the south end zone. I mean, it's a pretty beautiful spot, and I'm curious were there any other options for where they might put this?
Stadium?
Yeah, did they consider anything else?
Not that I don't know. I never ran across anything like that. I think they used to. I heard some stories that maybe they used to play out where the rodeo grounds are now, and there used to be even like maybe some golf holes out there at one time. I've heard lots of different stories about how this, and I think they played here for quite a while before the stadium was here. There was just no place to sit, so there was just the hill. I think and I don't know how long that was. I do know that the thing got wiped out multiple times. 1951, I know, was one of them. Even after the stadium was here, the field pretty much just got. That was before the dike.
The flooding.
Yeah, there was no dike, no berms, no nothing, and it just got absolutely destroyed. Is what I've heard, and that's some of the things I get to learn. I never heard that before, but in some of these conversations with folks, I've been able to find some of those things out. It's been really kind of a humbling labor of love, I suppose, for me to be able to have those conversations with those guys. Dick Buckmaster tonight, for example, when I talked to him on the phone, I thought he was going to hop on a bike and ride his bike here from Council Bluffs, Iowa. He was just like, absolutely, I'm coming. I wouldn't miss it for the world, and I'm just thinking, this guy he's full of energy. He's ready to go. And he was out there pumping his fist when he got announced tonight. It was just really cool to see him and Tom and Mel. And then Lloyd Kastner wasn't on that team, but involved as a worker, and his dad was heavily involved in the whole process. So it's just really cool to have those guys back.
Well, listen, thank you to you, because, again, what a special night it's been. You played a big role, and I know you had a lot of other people, but thank you, because I think it made this night incredibly special for the folks here. And again, all the projects you work on has to be one of your favorite ones. School principal.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was great to have the involvement of those former players and their families, and we're really pleased. And just what this is, I think. We've created one heck of an atmosphere here, and part of that is we've got really good football. That's a big part of it, and we got good fans, and the kids are involved in having a good time down there. And Aurora, by the way, is really good. So they're taking it to us at the moment, and it's something we just got to keep swinging. This will be a good thing for us in the future. But what a whale of an opponent for a game like this.
Without a doubt. And you heard a little coach speak there, folks, from Coach Brad Jacobson, who's now our principal and has been for many years. So, Brad, thank you for
Thanks,
joining
Tim.
us. Absolutely. Great work.
See, I told you I'd take all the time. You wouldn't need anything else to talk about.
Well, this is great timing. We haven't kicked off yet, as Hill gave the mic over to Jordan Wallman. But again, great work by Brad. Great work by so many people to really celebrate the 75th birthday tonight at Memorial Stadium here in Ashland as part of the Ashland-Greenwood school system. And we are hoping that we're going to be celebrating here at the end of the fourth quarter, because the Blue Jays here, I'm telling you right now, let's see if we can do this. And I've got some, let's see here. All right. So here we go as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. And Aurora will come on out. And Jordan, give us your thoughts here. What are you dialing up in the third quarter?
You know, I like what Coach Thompson said. You know, this is an opportunity to compete, opportunity to get out there and have a chance. You know, you don't want to waste it. You don't want to squander it. So part of me wants to be a little bit of a hopeless dreamer and say, hey, if we do this, do this, do this, do this, we can come back and win this thing. But I think the boys should be excited to play hard and get a chance to win this game.
Well, you hear the big boom from the cannon, and the Blue Jays hope to have a little boom going here themselves to start this third quarter. But a nice return by Aurora out to the 32-yard line. And Jordan, if there is a time for the Blue Jays to try to make a run here, it's got to be in this third quarter because they've got that incredible wind at their back, and they need to stop to get things going here.
Yeah, and I kind of want to backtrack what I said right there. You know, I don't want to create maybe expectations for what we need to do to come back and win this game, but you know, it all is going to start with getting stops, rallying to Colazos, and just really creating third and long situations for him.
So it'll be Canoes to come out here at the 33-yard line. He's going to send a man in motion, and here's Colazo to get things started. The Blue Jays swarm, knock him down at the 36. Short gain, it's second down and 7.
And that's a really good start right there. That's a play that they found a lot of success with. Newt's getting Colazos behind pulling guards, running downhill. Those have kind of gashed the Blue Jays a little bit tonight, but there he only falls forward for 3 yards.
All right, Canoost with Colazo back there again. He'll send twins to the far sideline, and they're going to try Colazo, and he's got some running room, ran over one of the Blue Jays, is finally knocked down at the 49. Just tough running by the senior.
And that was something, you know, I'm not sure what it's called in the grand scheme of football, but that's a little belly play, a belly ride. So essentially he's going to run forward as though it's an ISO, and then he's going to kind of cut off and take advantage of his tight ends, kind of sitting the edge on the far side. Really untouched for 8 to 7 yards. Good run there.
So here we go, 1st and 10. And this time they're going to try bubble screen, and it is thrown behind Noctegal, and so it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. You know, we talked a lot there at halftime with Brad Jacobson about the 75th birthday party at Memorial Stadium, but one of the pictures I saw was Noble Newsham, who is great-grandpa of Nick Kuchera. He was on the bulldozer building that stadium up. Of course, the Kuchera's been a big part of this community, so some great nostalgia we saw this week. Here's a 2nd down and 10, and they're going to try Canoost off the right side. He'll be brought down at the 46-yard line. So a gain of 5. Here comes a big 3rd down here for the Huskies.
And Tim, to your point right there, you know, one of the things that we do in our social media classes, our media classes, we run the social media. So Brad was working with our kids all week. He was sharing a lot of those resources with us, kind of sharing those factoids about the volunteer service that went into this place. And it was kind of pretty special to have a front row seat to that.
And that was Logan Sabota with his 5th tackle of the night. And here we go on 3rd down and 5. Colazo hit behind the line, and that's Luke Lambert. He came out of his slumber for that hit there, and it's 4th down and 6.
Grown man, country strong, Luke Lambert. They call him Pig because he's wrestling pigs all the time. There he just takes Colazos and really gobbles him up, stops him in his tracks, and creates a 4th down situation for Aurora.
Sorry,
no, you're
partner,
good.
I just stood on you, but you mentioned Pig. He was actually named the Hog of the Week, the offensive line coach. He recognizes one great offensive lineman every week, and it was Luke Lambert. So whether hogs or pigs, he's involved with it all. And here's the snap, and again, nearly a block. They'll punt away from Nate Upton and out of bounds at around the 35-yard line, make it the 36. Nate Upton did think about picking that ball up because it did not go out of bounds. But wisely, he stayed away from it. So here we go. Blue Jays get a stop. They got the win at their back. Here we go.
Great opportunity here. How you doing? Good opportunity here for the Blue Jays. Take advantage, like you said, of that wind at their back and see if they can't show a little multiple offenses here with the run and the pass game.
Well, putting some additional wind in our sail. Kevin Steele just came up here to the booth. His son, Ben Steele, making the practice squad of the Miami Dolphins and Ashland-Greenwood boy in the NFL. And let's see if we can take that momentum into this series here. From the 26-yard line, Dane's going to bubble screen it out to Thomas Spears. Thomas makes one miss, and then he's knocked down just short of the sticks. It'll bring up 2nd down and 1.
That's a really good ball from Dane to start out. Threw it confidently, hit Thomas in stride, but you can kind of see that tenacity. Thomas likes to work east and west a little bit, see if he can't break a big one. There, Thomas put his head down, he got his yards, and he got forward to create a 2nd and short.
And there was Connor Smith, another senior, starting from that middle backer position who knocked down Spears. But 2nd down and 1, they'll go traditional line. No, they're going to say pistol set. And Dane will keep it. On the little read option, he gets out to around the 39. They're going to say his knee actually touched down at around the 39, but enough for a 1st down for the Big Blue.
Love that from Dane. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to hold that pitch till late. Just get down and get your yards.
And there was Carlos Collazo, who does it on both sides of the ball on the stop. Let's see if Nate Tonjes, boy, he found a little something there late in that 2nd quarter. A lot of bubble screens, a lot of underneath stuff that he went for pay dirt, had Spears open, but Dane wasn't able to connect. Let's see what he stays with here on 1st and 10. Here's the snap, and he gets in the way of his running back and then nearly picked up. Boy, they smelled that out, and again, it just seems to be a little bit of problems as Upton that time ran into Jacobson, and that led to an incomplete pass.
And you see the boys kind of talking it out a little bit, trying to figure out what those things are. You know, kind of a little bit of a momentum killer, but hey, 2nd and 10, you got a good chance to get 5 or 6 yards here and create third and very reasonable.
Yeah, thankfully that happened on 1st down for the Blue Jays. So back at the 39. Upton in the game behind Jacobson. Here comes Spears in motion. Low snap. Dane looking, little out route, and it's complete. They're staying underneath as Aurora's giving them that, and brought down there at the 47-yard line was Isaac Carson. And there's Carson Stair with the tackle.
Love that from the Blue Jays, showing a little bit of a play action, taking advantage of that cover 4 look that the Blue, or not really a cover 4 as much as it is kind of a little bit of a quarters look from Aurora. Guys are going to sag off, get the hitch route, create 3rd and short.
3rd down and 2. Jordan called for this. Let's see what the Blue Jays dial up. Near midfield. We've got 8 minutes to go in the 3rd, and Aurora with that 20-point lead. Battle between number 1 and number 3. And on 3rd and 2, they're going to try off left side Upton. There's a 1st down to the 45. That gets the home crowd into the football game.
That was one of the best runs we've seen tonight from Nate. He kind of got his spot, and he just took off downhill. You know, sometimes you kind of want to find that big seam to hit down, but there Nate just takes us down, and he gets 7 yards.
There's Big Jack Allen on yet another stop for the Huskies. Blue Jays across midfield. We're under 7.5 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Here's the snap. Dane's going to knock the pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. And that is the 2nd tip at the line that Aurora's had. They've got some big bodies up front.
And they both kind of been on this near side here. It'd be the right side of the field. Your near side if you're watching on the camera. But this is kind of that opportunity Tonjes is taking advantage of. Really kind of showing a great balance between run and pass, short passes, high completion passes. With that wind in it back, because it's still blowing pretty hard up here.
Boy, it is. It has not settled down tonight as West and Isaac Carson will split up to the near sideline. You got Thomas Spears alone on that far side. Pistol set, and they're going to try a little draw play to Upton. He's got some running room across the 35, still on his feet down to the 20, and he'll jump over a man down to the 16. Uptown Upton with a big run. Wade Olson had to come upfield to make the stop.
Definitely Blue Jays are showing some passion, and we talked about how Spears did a great job getting downhill. We talked about how Nate had his best run of the night there. Nate's only goal there was north and south, man. He just wanted to get that foot in the ground, get uphill, get yards, turned into a huge 20-yard plus run.
7:12 to go 3rd quarter, 27-20, but Aurora with the lead. Ashland trying to answer here early on. Trips to the far sideline for Jacobson. The junior awaits the snap from Jackson Ham. He gets it. He'll roll. And he finds a man on an out route, but off the hands of Isaac Carson. Here comes the 2nd down and 10.
Dane had some pressure there. That was really the only place that ball could be. He kind of put it on Isaac's outside shoulder, gave Isaac a chance to dive for it. Didn't quite get it. Second and 10 here still, but kind of where that ball needed to be.
An offensive line for the Blue Jays. You got Braxton Buck, Luke Lambert on the left side. Center, of course, Jackson Ham. And on the right side, a sophomore in Landon Sabota. The right tackle, Ben Harris, he's a junior. And let's see what kind of protection they can give to Jacobson here if he chooses to throw on 2nd down and 10 with 6:53 to go in the 3rd. And this time they're going to keep it on the ground. Upton is able to break one tackle, but Olson comes up and corrals him after a gain of about 5. Here's a 3rd and 5 for the Blue Jays.
I'll tell you, Tim, you know, deep down in my heart, I'm a power football guy. We're going to have a timeout here.
And it looks like Holiday is down for Aurora.
How about Grant Hansen just hitting it on the walkie-talkie, letting us know who was injured, man. He is what a real sideline guy looks like. I'm learning something every day up here.
Listen, Jordan, you do a great job when you're down there. And Grant Hansen, what a story there. He's the play-by-play guy for Midland College football. And he's a star at the University of Nebraska. He works for On3 as well. He just really does some great work. And years ago, as Holiday will be helped off the field here for the Huskies, he got some internet experience back there doing sports broadcasting at Fort Calhoun. So he was kind enough to help us out tonight. Barry, of course, has gone to Happy Valley to watch his son play at Penn State this weekend. Jordan's up here in the booth doing an awesome job. And then we got Grant Hansen on the sideline as they will get Holiday off the field here, as he looks like he has a lower leg injury, and hopefully he's all right. He is a very valuable player for Aurora. So here we go on 3rd down and 5. Clock running with 6:40 to go. Blue Jays threatening. Trying to make something happen here. Down 27-20, and here's another draw. Upton this time can't escape. They knock him down at the line of scrimmage. Here comes the 4th down and 5, and the Blue Jays will have to try to get a first down here.
You know, I'm still loving the way that Nate's running. He's running downhill. He's running hard. I'm a run the football type of guy. And the way that Nate's running right now, you want to put the ball in his hands more often. You know, I think this is go for it territory. You got to get a play that'll get you 5-6 yards here. But, you know, you kind of need those touchdown points with 6:07 left to go in quarter 3. Maybe more you need those potential field goal points.
Ty Carey checks in. Logan Sabota goes out. Drake Zimmerman will be on the right side. Twins to the far side as Zimmerman goes in motion. And on this 4th and 5, they're going to try to throw to the end zone, but great coverage on Ty Carey and incomplete passes. Carlos Collazo puts his finger in the air and says, not on me.
Yeah, you know, a little play action there, a little naked bootleg coming back the other way. They're going to get Ty Carey on a little out route. You know, there might have been a little tugging and pulling as the ball's in the air, but when a guy's got 3 guys around him, you kind of reward the fact that Aurora was pretty sound in their schemes.
Well, one good thing here, Jordan, the Blue Jays had a great drive against a very, very good Aurora defense. They were able to take it from their own 32, got all the way down to the 11-yard line, not able to cash in. But I know they're going to see some film that they like on that drive.
Yeah, and, you know, they've been really run-heavy this year because they are so dominant up front, and that was a really good job of showing multiple offenses in that possession there.
So out there on 11, they take over on downs, and this will be Canoes just following Collazo, and he's got good yardage out to the 20-yard line. Gain of 9, it brings up 2nd and short.
One of the things is, as Aurora doesn't use a fullback there, that kind of makes the Blue Jays spread out a little bit and get into different looks. 2 tight ends, even as Holiday goes down, they're still showing that commitment to 2 tight ends, and on those quarterback draws, those quarterback runs, they're using Colazos as a fullback.
And Keller Dostal has visited the booth. There's a future kid we're going to be talking about as Austin Cote came up and made the tackle. So here we go on 2nd down and 1. And here's the snap, and they're going to try Collazo. Short game, but I believe just enough for a first down at the 24-yard line. So when they need it, they can dial up Collazo behind that massive offensive line. There's Luke Lambert, who got through and finally brought down the senior running back.
And Luke's getting a lot of guys thrown at his way tonight. You know, he obviously is a guy that's going to attract a lot of attention. The Wayne State commit, 6'2", 6'3", 265, strong as an ox. So he's scratching and clawing in there tonight, but he's kind of got an uphill fight with 5 good linemen against 3 down linemen for the Blue Jays.
Jaden Wilsey, Luke Lambert, Braxton Buck, those 3 down linemen. You got Ty Carey 1D in, and keeping it here is Canoes. And this time he is run down quickly behind the line of scrimmage for a lot. So it'll bring up 2nd and 11, as there were a host of Blue Jays in on that stop. And it looks like leading the charge for the Big Blue that time was Jaden Wilsey.
And I kind of got stuck watching Lambert there. I wanted to watch him for a play, but as the play settles, you kind of see Collazo just kind of sitting back like he wasn't a fullback in that position or that possession as much as he was kind of a decoy. You know, 2nd and long, are they going to get into a passing with the wind in their face? Are they going to try to piece it together in 2 with the Collazo run? Either way, the Blue Jays are going to have to slow him down.
Second and 10 from the 24. Here's Collazo. They run into each other. Collazo got away from a tackle in the backfield, but there are 3, 4 Blue Jay defenders as Landon Sabota finished him off, and I believe Luke Lambert had him down low.
How about those two big boys up front? Lambert chases Collazo down, and then Landon, you know, he's the freight train. He's literally a train moving at such a high speed, comes in and cleans that thing up, making Collazo pay, you know, for running hard and running well all night.
Big 3rd and 10 now for Aurora. As they will stare down this defense. You got Logan Sabota, that middle backer. Here comes Nate Upton. He's having a conversation with Landon Sabota at the line of scrimmage. He's one of the middle backers. And back deep is Austin Cote, as well as Thomas Spears. Let's see what Canoost will do on 3rd and 12. And we send the blitz, and rolling out is Canoost. Chase fires across the middle. Collazo, look out! He's got the first down. When they need him, they dial up Carlos Collazo, and it works yet again.
I mean, and that really is just a great play call. It looks like they're trying to take the edge. It looks like it's going to be a quarterback run. So as the guys that are guarding Collazo kind of celebrate getting inside of him, getting back to the quarterback, there he is catching a ball in stride. I mean, just, you know, we continue to throw compliments his way, just running full speed, never breaks stride as that ball comes in and gets himself a first down.
And Drew Canoost, boy, so unheralded. He came into this game 15 of 25. That's a 60% completion percentage. He can hurt you on the ground. And there he delivered a bullet to Collazo. And on 1st and 10, they're going to pitch out to Collazo. Blue Jays pursuing, and again, shut him down to the 40-yard line. Short gain, 2nd down and 8. Coach Thompson getting exactly what he wants here in this second half. He's getting them in 2nd and 3rd and longs, but they are converting when they need to, and leading the charge that time for the Big Blue was Landon Sabota and Jackson Hand.
And that was a play that they had talked about, that a little outside pitch. You can kind of see that ball turning over its top a little bit. A play they practiced, a play that the Ashland coaches were ready for, and there they kind of scuff it out for 2 yards.
Julie Meek is working so hard here in a spot board tonight. She does a great job. Our award-winning producer and spotter. Here comes 2nd down and 8 from the 40. Blue Jays, they've got 5. Then again, they're going to try to send everybody, and this is Canoost. Oh, I thought they gave it to Collazo. Ball came out. Did the Blue Jays get it? They're saying they did. And the official has yet to point our way, but I believe the Big Blue came up with it, and yes, indeed, that is the case.
And that was a great job. I don't know who ended up popping it out. You know, we're going to see what Julie got. Maybe she didn't get a chance to get it there, but such a big play. That was the first time that counter to Collazo, noosed up, really had started to gash the Blue Jays. He was going to get a first down there, and he'd been kind of getting stuffed for 2 to 3 yards all night. So it was good to see the Blue Jays kind of pop that one out, get a chance to put a drive here together with the wind at their back for the next 2:12.
Well, the Blue Jays just had a terrific drive on their previous series, but they were not able to convert on a 4th and 5 from the 11. Now they have a short field at the 48. Low snap. Dane fumbles it, picks it up, and he's been chased from the outside. Dane gets away, fires to the sideline, incomplete, but credit Dane Jacobson. He was under all kinds of duress from Kellen Peterson, the head coach's son, and he was able to get away and make it 2nd and 10.
It's kind of one thing we kind of call Dane, you know, a little quirky, kind of a little unconventional, but as he rolls out, it doesn't matter how hard it looks like he's running or how hard it looks like he's not running. He never really gets caught from behind. He always kind of extends that play and gives himself an opportunity to get that ball off.
And he had the high step going that time to get away from Peterson. We saw it earlier this year, but that was when he scored a touchdown. That time was just to save his life on that big blitz from Aurora. 2nd and 10, and they're going to try Drake Zimmerman. He's got some running room. Look at him go across the 30 to the 29. And there's dangerous Drake Zimmerman.
You know, I love the way that him and Nate are running. We talked about Nate in the last possession. We said these two running backs are going to kind of flip time, keep each other fresh. But, man, Drake just found his hole, and he went for it. Big run.
That's starring partner Drew Canoost on the stop. Not until they got a first down. They're going to swing it out complete to Sabota. The fullback is starting to rumble across the 20. Stiff arms and a great tackle down there to save a touchdown. Or Sabota was in by Kobe Noctegal. But here comes another first down and 10 for the Blue Jays at the 13.
Tanja's doing a great job being multiple. Shows a little RPO set there. The fullback coming out of the wing position there makes a big play.
And now we got a whistle. Stoppage of play here as the Blue Jays will call a timeout with 1:41 to go here. They had some sort of a mix-up. 27-7. Now listen, this is for the what it's worth column. I will just state that before I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But the Blue Jays have responded, as Coach Thompson said. They've really outplayed Aurora here in the third quarter. And regardless of how this game ends up, and there's a lot of time left, the Blue Jays have looked very good in the third quarter.
You know, and you say for what it's worth, and I say it's worth its weight in gold. I mean, these guys, even though the score hasn't changed, they have marched the football down. They have responded to big runs, responded to big plays. You know, I hate to be a moral victory guy, but they are. I'm very proud of this team right now, and they put themselves in a situation where they get a score here. They get to stop coming back the other way, put another drive together, and we're dealing with a very realistic game going in the fourth quarter.
Well, Jordan, to your point, I think you've seen the Blue Jays kind of mature a little bit right before our eyes. You know, I was talking with Coach Thompson earlier today, and he said they've got a lot of high character, high quality players, but he still really wants to see someone become a little more vocal. He wants to see someone be just a little more vocal in that leadership. And you have a feeling you're seeing some leaders develop right here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and you know, when you take a look at your team, you know, Buck and Lambert are two guys that you look to for leadership. Well, they're both very quiet, very humble. They're going to do the right thing. Drake Zimmerman in the backfield, quiet, do the right thing. Dane's Dane. So, you know, he's a leader. They're doing the right thing. So these boys are stepping up.
High character bunch on 2nd and 10. Here's a draw to Zimmerman following Sabota. Can Drake get in? Yes, he does! Touchdown, Ashland-Greenwood.
Love that. Kind of watch that play develop. You see the hole come up. Logan Sabota fits right through that hole so perfectly. Drake gets patient, gets behind his very talented fullback in Sabota, marches that bad boy in. And I'll tell you, those are two very good drives. Only one ended up in a touchdown, but both of those drives were pretty dang impressive from the Blue Jays.
Dangerous Drake Zimmerman.
Ooh.
You like that?
I like that.
I just kind of hit me because, boy, is he dangerous.
Well, I call him the real deal man of steel last week, so I like Dangerous Drake a lot more.
Well, I'm telling you, that's too much for me to say in a quick touchdown run, but I like that too. As Zimmerman averaging 12.6 yards a carry coming into this game. And here is Peyton Alexander, who's perfect tonight with the PATs to make it 27-14. With 1:35 to go in the third, we've got us a game here, Jordan Wallman.
Hey, and just to be clear, I wasn't trying to plug my nickname and start a Twitter poll down the road. I'm letting you know that yours is so much better, and I think I'm going to leave the nickname making up to you.
You know what? Listen, you appeal to a different generation than me.
Yeah.
And so I think both of them work. So, but I'll tell you what is definitely working for this Blue Jay squad is the way they've looked in this third quarter. Their offense has been sharp. They've had 2 great drives. And defensively, they've done just enough to slow Aurora down. You know,
and Thompson wanted that big game here. So far this year, we've been able to basically take advantage of our offensive line and our running backs and run, complement with the play-action pass. Run, complement, play-action pass. But in this third quarter especially, we've seen screen passes to very athletic players. We've seen Tonjes get downhill and rely on that run when he needs to. And we've seen really just 2 solid possessions that aren't run-based or pass-based. They're multiple.
Well, Kalen, Steve, Lonnie, they're like 2 great actuarians, and they will rack the numbers for us. I am really excited to see what the numbers in the third quarter look like for the Blue Jays. They've had a couple of drives that they've been able to move and not get any points on the board, which is the brilliance of this Aurora defense, is that they'll keep you out of the end zone. But they were able to punch one through here to make it a 2-score game late third quarter as Alexander put that right hand up. With the wind behind them and the cannon going off here at Memorial Stadium, they'll field it at the 6. And this is going to be Stair working near sideline. And a great open field tackle. Who was that? Nonella. He's had a big night on special teams.
I'll tell you what, every single time there's a tackle or a play, I feel like you're saying his name. That's how you make an impact outside of being a starter on offense or defense, and that's how you get yourself more time on offense or defense to be a star in special teams.
150-pound sophomore. He's almost blocked 2 punts tonight. Great open field tackle on the world-class football player, Carson Stair. And so out comes Aurora. They have a comfortable lead here late third quarter, but they're feeling it a little bit here from the Blue Jays. There's Collazo. He'll follow his right tackle, and then he's hit, and he's dropped. Big hit by Logan Sabota. And here comes a 2nd down. Let's call it 6.
I mean, I'm kind of pumping my fist. I'm excited. You know, it's a big play, a big hit. And, you know, he still finds a way to get 4 yards. And, while that's okay, and I think there was even a late fumble there that Thompson was kind of hoping to get. But you're happy that he's rallying to the ball, and you're kind of hoping that maybe you can slow him down a little bit.
The defensive ends are the outside backers that they bring up. Ty Carey and Leighton West now for the Big Blue. As we have a 2nd down and 6, under a minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. There's a snap, and it's Collazo. He stayed inside, got twisted up at around the 35-yard line. I think it's enough for a 1st down. And Jordan, you think we're going to see a steady diet here of Carlos Collazo now that the game's tightened up a little bit?
If I have the keys to this Aurora offense right here and the way that it's been going, I'm going to take advantage of Chris Berman and tick.
In reference to the great ESPN announcer, he used to have that wonderful tick-tock. You'd watch the football games. Here we go with 20 seconds to go in the 3rd, 27-14, as Canoost in that pistol set. And here is Collazo again. And Collazo across the 40, still on his feet, finally brought down at the 51. What a burst, what power. And he gets down to the 49.
I mean, I'll never forget, we were at Heartland Hoops after Ashland played Grand Island Northwest and Aurora was playing. I don't remember exactly who it was, but I see this kid playing point guard, this Collazo kid, and I turn to Coach Mose and I say, wow, this kid's a pretty big guy moving pretty fast. And Coach Craven goes, he's a 2,000-yard rusher too. This kid's a stud, man. I know we've been all over it tonight, but he's a real good ball player.
Well, let's go down to Grant Hansen and see what he thinks after 3 quarters of play. Grant, what's it look like?
Well, look, I think the Blue Jays, in that period, they go 2 for 2 on stops. They take both of their drives inside the 20-yard line. So far, you got to really like how the team has come out differently here in the 2nd half. And I want to take you back to that 4th down turnover. The Blue Jays turn it over on downs inside the red zone. And that really, I think, is an important thing. An important thing to remember when you're thinking about that fumble that happened on the next drive for Aurora, because, look, mentally, if the Blue Jays turn it over on downs and then Aurora drives down and scores, it's 35-7. That's a 14-point swing mentally that the defense was able to wipe out there. Instead, the Blue Jays get the fumble, they go down, they cash it in for points, and now they're in position here to compete in the 4th quarter and possibly win this game. They're going to need to stop here first, but that's about all you can ask for.
All right, Grant, thank you very much. He makes a good point there, Jordan. And now the Blue Jays once again have got their backs against the wall. Of course, with 12 minutes to go, they cannot give up another score and have a chance in this football game.
Yeah, and, Aurora's probably not going to be looking to pass a whole lot. You just kind of want to avoid that play-action pass. But, the Blue Jays, the passes they've been completing tonight have kind of been short-action passes, high completion percentage passes. And got to stop the run here because they're going to lean on Collazo here.
On 1st and 10 to start the 4th quarter. And they're going to try Collazo. He's hit behind the line, but Lambert can't bring him down, and he'll continue to motor out to the 46. Oh, that was 2 big-time football players meeting in the backfield. Collazo gets the W that time.
I've been pretty involved in Luke's football career. And I've kind of watched him grow up, and I'll tell you one thing is in the last couple of years, his hands have gotten so big. So it just really tells you a lot about Collazo.
And after this play, we're going to go to Aiden for the stats in that 3rd quarter. Can't wait to see what the numbers look like. But right now, Blue Jays fighting for their lives here. Number 1 versus number 3. And the Blue Jays dominated quarter 3. But they've got to come up with yet another stop here as Canoe's going to take his time. And we don't have the play clock on, by the way. I don't know if they're down or not, but on 2nd and 8, and the Blue Jays blitz. They bring everybody, try to hit the gaps, and they do, but look at Collazo, his athleticism. He just jumps forward to the 42. Here comes the 3rd down and 5. Aiden, what do those stats look like?
For the 3rd quarter, we have 6, for Ashland, we have 6 carries, 64 yards, 3 completions out of 8 attempts, 33 yards passing.
We're going to hold that thought right there, partner, as we get this big 3rd down. And we'll go back to Aiden after this. He's doing a great job with the stats. And Logan Sabota, he's exhorting the crowd. Get into it, he says. On 3rd down and 5. They're going to try Collazo. He's got the 1st, and he's finally brought down at the 36. but not until he picks up another first down. Hayden, take it away.
We have 97 total yards for Ashland, and then Aurora's offense, 13 carries, 69 yards, 1 completion, 2 attempts, 15 yards, 84 total yards.
All right, partner, thank you again.
That's it, yeah.
And we'll pick him up after this play here as the wind is really picking up here in Ashland tonight, knocking our stuff around. In fact, our spot board came up and hit Julie right in the face. Thank goodness it wasn't heavier than it is. On 1st and 10 from the 36. Blue Jays blitz again, trying to hit the gaps, and Carlos Collazo does a 360 spin and then uses a stiff arm to
Face
carry
mask.
a Blue Jay down to the 20. Here comes the face mask.
Sorry, I just watched him literally stiff arm Logan Sabota and hold that face mask up there forever. So he might not get a big one, get a 15-yarder, but he for sure was in the face mask there. So
Officials having a conversation about it. I never questioned the man to my right when it comes to play calling, because he is a guy, yep. It is a face mask against Aurora. Good call, partner.
I mean, and it was a very impressive run. He slides off of Thomas in the legs there, and then he takes Logan Sabota, the man-eater. You know, you don't get that nickname by being an average person, and just really held him at bay with the stiff arm there. So, I mean, just a very talented athlete. I don't want to continue to hammer that theme to the point where it's annoying, but you know, my job is to put a little color to the canvas, and that's the paint we're painting with right now.
Oh, no doubt. It's the only paint you can paint with right now. There's no other way to describe it. So after the face mask, it makes it a 1st and 11 back at the 38-yard line. As Knust, he's got Olsen in that offensive set. He's also going to have Noctegal and, of course, Carson Stair. And we've got 9:37 to go. Clock is running. They're going to take their sweet time, up 27-14. They're going to milk it down all the way to under 5 seconds if they can on every single play. And you have a feeling Coach Peterson's going to keep everything on the ground. No reason to stop this clock as the Blue Jays have come alive in this second half. On 1st and 11, and just as I say it, they're going to throw. And they're going to throw deep, but he's going to miss his receiver by a long ways as he actually threw it out of the end zone, and that's the power of the wind behind him. So that will stop the clock with 9:12 to go, 2nd down and 11.
You know, you got to take that shot. You know, technically it's still 1st and 10 with that face mask. It held 1st down and pushed him back to with 11 yards to go. But, you know, you got to make Ashland respect it. You can't load the box and get uphill and be all over the run game. Why not take a shot? 9 minutes, 12 seconds left to go, up 2 scores. You know, I don't blame Aurora for taking that shot at all.
You got Wilsey over the nose, Braxton Buck and Luke Lambert, the tackles. Colton Cerveny now in at outside backer. Ty Carey, the other outside backer. And those middle backers are Ham and Sabota. And on 2nd and 11, the Blue Jays again try to hit the gaps. And this is going to be Knust, who stopped after a short gain as Logan Sabota gets in there. Here comes a 3rd down and 9. And Colton Cerveny also got into the legs of Knust.
Good rally, you know. Maybe Knust hits the gap a step slower than Collazo does, but I mean, I feel like the Blue Jays are really rallying well to the quarterback.
All right, the question is, can the Blue Jays stop him here on the next 2? 8:39 to go. 3rd and long, exactly what Coach Thompson wanted. The Blue Jays will move their D lineman around. Lambert comes over to the near side. Buck to the far, and on 3rd down 11, blitz from the outside. Knust across the middle to Olsen, missed him. Good coverage down there by Thomas Spears. He saw the outside pressure coming from Ty Carey, and here comes a 4th down and 9.
That was a big stop. You know, they didn't try to piece it in 2 and 4 down territory with the wind at their back. They just kind of said, we're going to go for the whole deal here. So I talk about the amount of plays for down and distances. I don't know how many plays I have for 4th and 9, you know. So we'll see what Aurora has here coming up, because this would be a big one to get, kind of maybe put a little nail in the coffin. Put one nail in the coffin, not all of them, but it'd be a huge get for him.
Well, you know Kyle Peterson, the head coach for Aurora, he's been in some big spots. So has Coach Thompson. He's coached in 2 state championship games. Kyle Peterson's won a state championship. He's been runner-up at another. And here's 4th down and 9. He sends a man in motion. Here's the snap. Blue Jays blitzing. It's a screen. It is well conceived. And oh, goodness, they have the 1st down and much more. Down to the 11. And again, the chess match works out as they caught the Blue Jays in the blitz and the screen. was exactly what the doctor ordered as Logan Sabota makes the tackle downfield as well as Drake Zimmerman.
Yeah, and they've really been kind of giving Carson a lot of chances there for Aurora. He's an athlete. He's a ball player. Even on that last throw that was a little overthrown. Tim, go ahead.
And here we go. As Collazo, we met in the backfield. Oh, my goodness, what strength. He got away from Lambert. And then he jukes down to it on the 2-yard line, and that is a backbreaker. Lambert once again had him in the backfield, but he was able to escape.
I'm telling you, he's got them big bear paws, Lambert does, and for a guy to break out of an arm tackle where he's got a hold of you, he's got to be something pretty special. So we've hammered the theme all night, and in fourth quarter, we're still hammering her.
Austin Cote finally got Collazo down, but the ball at the 2-yard line. Second down and goal from the 2. As we've got officials slowing down play here, and Aurora's happy to do so. Pistol set. Here comes Collazo, and he'll barrel in for a touchdown, appropriately so, as it's now 33-14. The Huskies with that commanding lead with 7:12 to go in the football game.
And it's just a tough situation. They get into a 4th and long right there. They show something they haven't shown all night with a little screen on the outside to a receiver. Good play call at the end of the day. A lot of attention going to Collazo, and they go another direction. But, hey, there's plenty of time left in this game. The Blue Jays have been marching it. We've been so proud of the way they've been marching it. And we can't forget that just because Aurora came down and marched one down themselves.
Well, they're going to go for 2 here, up 33-14, and they're going to try Knust, and this time the Blue Jays sniff it out, and they'll bring him down right away. I think making the initial hit in there was Colton Serban. He got some help from Ty Carey. So the 2-point conversion fails, but Aurora, well, they might have just certainly became much closer to the W tonight with that touchdown, up 33-14.
Yeah, and just like I said, or just like Coach Thompson said at the half, there's opportunities taken, there's opportunities wasted, and so even right here, Aurora's still going to have their first unit out there. They're not going to start making too many mass subs off the jump. So love to see the Blue Jays kind of march one down and take advantage of the momentum they created there in that third quarter.
Well, how dedicated are Dave and Sherry Nygren? They're over in Hamburg, Germany. It's 3:45 a.m., and they're watching Strive.
Seriously.
Dave Nygren, of course, longtime school board member. I believe he's the school board president this year, and Sherry Nygren was a celebrated teacher here at Ashland-Greenwood in the elementary school, and they're over in Hamburg, but they wouldn't miss a Blue Jay game, and that's the beauty of Strive TV, right?
Hey, it's why we do it. 3:45 in the morning.
3:45 a.m.?
I don't know if they have jet lag or if they just got those alarms set up, had a little extra coffee. That's pretty dang impressive.
Well, what you don't know about Dave Nygren, he was an incredible football player at Meade High School, and he loves to tell the story about playing Grant in the state championship game back in his day, and Grant was a powerhouse. And so, boy, he was good in basketball. He was good in football. So he just can't get enough. You know how those ex-athletes are, right? Or did I call him ex-athlete? He's still an athlete.
Yeah, there you go, Tim.
There's the cannon. There's the kick. And Drake Zimmerman will carry it into the end zone. So the Blue Jays with a terrific third quarter. And Aiden, tell me real quick again, what was the yardage advantage for the Big Blue here in the third quarter? I know you read those stats off, but what did we have for total yardage in the third, and what did Aurora have? Okay, partner, I put you on the spot. Well, actually, the stats went back to Caleb, but I know he read them off. Jordan, it may have rang your bell there.
No, let's maybe we'll get Aero to get him back. We've kind of. Aero, what you don't know is that we fly by the seat of our pants on this thing.
We sure do.
Tim's going on a whim.
So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 20. And this is going to be Jacobson. He's looking. Now he's chased. He's running in circles as Aurora chases him back to the 5. He gets some blocks. Here comes a flag. He's still alive. Look at him go. And he finally fires across the middle to Upton. It'll be a short gain, but there's flags everywhere.
There's a lot of opportunities there for crackbacks, a lot of opportunities there for guys to make it. It was kind of goofy, kind of some schoolyard stuff, if you will. I'll be interested to see what they call here.
Yeah, let's see what they got. It just shows you I can't help myself. I'm a bit of a homer. I felt like the Blue Jays really dominated the third quarter, but they did win the yardage totals. They had 97 total yards, the Blue Jays did, which against Aurora, that's a tremendous amount for a quarter. But Aurora did put up 84 yards themselves. So I will strike the comment that the Blue Jays were dominating. I wouldn't say that, but the Blue Jays, when you put up 100 yards in a quarter against Aurora, that's 400 for the game. That is not easy to do against this Aurora Huskies team.
It's not. And, Tim, AG Strive, obviously we can be a little bit homer here. We want to find those victories. Obviously, Dog Pound Productions out in Aurora do a great job. A lot of respect for our Aurora listeners. But, yeah, it was a good ball. Good ball from the Blue Jays in the third. Got a couple points back. Got things done back.
And we've got Grant Hansen down there with an update. Grant, tell us about it.
Guys, I don't know if you guys caught that at the end, but part of the confusion that's going on right now is one of the officials blew their whistle when they threw the penalty flag. It was inadvertent, but it totally blew up the play. There were multiple flags down there, but then you also have the added chaos of the whistle being blown, players stopping, and so they're going to take some time, I think, to sort this one out. But Coach Thompson was really disappointed with that whistle being blown because it could totally wipe out, even if the penalty isn't on Ashland, it could totally wipe out the gain that was made by that completion from Jacobson.
Great stuff, Grant. And yes, we saw the players kind of quit at the end of that play, so it makes total sense. So great catch there by Grant Hansen. And now we got all kinds of penalties, and they're all going against the Blue Jays. But Coach Thompson out on the field, he's talking to Joe Cassidy as he is not happy with the whistle being blown, and of course a couple of penalties going against the Big Blue. And that's what happens sometimes when a play breaks down, doesn't it, Jordan?
Yeah, and that's kind of it's a big difference between football and basketball, is that a lot of the times that you call violations or you call fouls in basketball, you're going to blow the play dead. And there's only a select few in football where you're going to blow that play dead. But it just sometimes accidents happen, but that whistle is such a strong force in kids' heads to kind of stop and slow down. They're taught that so much in their lives.
Great job by Grant Hansen to bring us that update. And now they're going to mark it back after the penalties. There was a hold and one other, and they move it back to the 5-yard line. So it's a first down and 26 for the Blue Jays. Back at their 5. 6:54 to go in regulation. The Blue Jays down 33-14 to the number 1 ranked team in Class C1. And they look every bit the part as Jacobson will have Upton behind him. And here's the snap. Pump fake. They're going to try to get Thomas going deep and threw it on the back shoulder, exactly where he had to throw it, incomplete. And that's what makes Dane Jacobson, in my opinion, such an excellent quarterback. I mean, look, that was tight coverage. He had to throw a back shoulder pass there. He did. And that prevented an interception as Drew Knust and Carson Stair were on the coverage.
Dane definitely, his personality and the way that he does things kind of makes you maybe not realize the level of skill and ability that he actually does have. And, I mean, he's been a successful starting quarterback in a playoff team for the last 2 years.
One of the smartest kids you're going to find. And he's quarterbacking literally the group right now as he's telling his wideouts where he wants them, which is Cerveny and Spears. And there goes Cerveny in motion. On the 2nd and 26, pump fake, big pressure on Dane. He's got to run to the near side, and then he just throws it incomplete. Again, Smart, he just had no choice there as Collazo and Jacobson exchanging unpleasantries that time, as they apparently will not be sending each other a Christmas card this year because a little extracurricular after the play Dane felt from Collazo.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it. I'm trying to respect, we're down on the far side. Julie, I know the value of her. I'm making sure my window presence is small and in between. Julie, we just appreciate you. You are the star of the show, so.
She's our quarterback in the booth. She occasionally calls some audibles, and she'd like to call one here. Down big are the Blue Jays. And here's Jacobson, who's hit from behind, and I don't know if that'll be an incomplete pass. Yes, they wave it off right away. As Jason Ford said his arm was going forward, and so the Blue Jays will punt it away with 6:38 to go here in the fourth.
The Brady rule, back when Tom Brady had that. I don't know if the NFL rule translated all the way down, but even that, it was so borderline. You'd hate to see that be a fumble in this situation right here, so I'm glad they called it the way they did.
So it will be Sabota standing in the very back of that end zone. It's a snap. Got it away, and that is a good punt into a very tough win. As Stair called for the fair catch at the 37-yard line. And this is where Aurora will start at the Blue Jay 37. And this will be another big possession. Look, you're not playing for the win here, I don't think, at 6:33 to go, but you are playing to compete in this game. And I know the Blue Jays would desperately like to keep Aurora out of the end zone.
And I'd say the other thing is that you've got guys out there still in the game, as the kids would say, that they're dogs. They're not the giving up type. Braxton Buck's not going to give up. Sabota's got a lot of pride out there. Landon Sabota on the D-line. You still got Ham, Upton, Spears, Zimmerman. We're not making substitutions here. These boys don't want to give up another touchdown, especially as prideful as our defense has been in their scoreless streaks in the last 2 years.
And Landon Sabota in over the nose now. Willsey out. Coach Thompson will tell you these are the highest, just super high-quality kids, and now we've got to whistle the flag. He loves his team. He loves their work ethic. And I will tell you this much. I honestly believe, Jordan, I've seen them get better right here in this football game tonight.
Yeah,
the penalty works against Aurora.
Offensively and defensively, we in the last 2 years have had the ability at linemen, or this season and last season, to really lean on teams. And tonight was a night that we couldn't lean on Aurora. We had to kind of face them head up, take our licks, and throw some punches back. And that's why Thompson wanted this game. That's why he put Aurora down as a team he would like to play, because you don't want to find this stuff out in October. You don't want to find this out in round 1, round 2. You want to find this out in week 4 and build off of it.
1st and 15. They're going to run option. And this is going to be Noctegal, and he'll get a short gain. It's 2nd down and about 14 as Landon Sabota came up and made the stop on Noctegal. Noctegal, terrific player. Been a little quiet tonight, only because they really haven't had to call on he and Stare. They've played big roles in other games this year, but tonight it's been the Carlos Collazo show.
Yeah, and that's really the mark of a good team, the one that has someone to lean on, but then they have those weapons hidden everywhere. We've referred to these big play guys, that can they don't have to go to those guys, but when they do, it's going to hurt.
So on 2nd down and 14, Blue Jays hit those gaps again, and they're going to go to Collazo, who's this time choosing to go wide, stays in bounds to the 35. Now, there's a guy who's carried the ball a million times tonight. He's delivered some hits. He's taken some hits. He could have run out of bounds. Logan Sabota ends up bringing him out, as well as Colton Cerveny. But he stays in bounds to keep that clock running. That is the definition of unselfishness right there.
Yeah, we have a little bit of an Aurora connection with the Cravens. Have some cousins out there in the Schusters, and I know Tyler Craven has really raved about him as a young man, and obviously he's showing that IQ tonight, showing that toughness, really putting the team on his back. And, there's only 5 minutes left. That's 5 minutes to keep complimenting this young man.
They're going to go again with that familiar pistol set tonight. Here's Collazo. The workhorse dives inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. And so he gets 6, so it should bring up 3rd down and short here for the Huskies.
I remember when Danny Woodhead was kind of going through Shattering State, they said no one could kind of square him up. No one could square up Danny Woodhead and kind of stop him in his tracks. And I feel the same thing with Collazo right here. Nobody's hitting him square. He's just kind of glancing off everyone and getting 1 or 2 more yards.
One of the things here, of course, for the Big Blue is next week, the tough schedule continues. They have top 10 rated Auburn, and they've got to travel down to Auburn to play that football game. So a very tough start to the season for the Blue Jays, although they're 2-0 coming into this one. But after this, they've got the Bulldogs. So here we go on 1st and 10. They end up giving him a first down as Canuse will follow Collazo, and he'll get down to the 20-yard line. A gain of 7. It's 2nd and 3.
And their 2 stock plays has been primarily a Collazo runner to a noose pull. And even on the noose pulls, Collazos is leading up the hole for him or carrying out a fake. The kid's just tough as nails, man.
It's Ty Carey. We got a tackle on that one. And I hear we may get some rain tomorrow, and if this wind is any indication, folks, it is just a blowing down here at Memorial Stadium from the north. And I'm no farmer, but I have a feeling Brian Mack's listening at home. He's a buddy of mine who farms. He could probably tell us if that indicates there's some rain coming. So here we go on 2nd and 10. And there's Collazo. And just really jumping on his back was, I think, Ty Carey, and Luke Lambert helped out to bring him down. That's the one thing with Barry Kittrell. He does think he's a meteorologist, Barry. He'll give you a weather forecast every game. He'll tell you, of course, what's in the concession stand, and he rates the food. And so right now tonight, Barry could give me a good idea of whether we're going to get rain tomorrow.
I know there's a softball tournament tomorrow, and there were some conversations about how we go about that. You know, Tim, I grew up a farmer. The only thing I'm growing these days is tall fescue in the front yard, and it could use a drink right now.
Lindsay says, get out there and mow it. The newlyweds. First down and 10. And now they're going to give it to their second string running back, Maddox Egger. He is a junior, 150 pounds. They say he is just loaded with speed, and he carries it on a short gain at second down and 7. Logan Sabota up from that middle backer position. Clock continues to tick down. Folks, you're seeing something here that you haven't seen since 2018. The Blue Jays will drop their first regular season game since 2018, the Lincoln Christian. And Aurora came in here and showed that they can take down a team like this. They are the real deal. As there's another run by Maddox Egger. And also in the game at quarterback is Booker Shireman. He is the younger brother of Bailey Shireman, who of course great basketball player. He's at Creighton right now. And Booker Shireman, he looks to me, they don't put down the height, but he looks about 6'7". I saw him in warm-ups, Jordan, throwing into that stiff wind. He was throwing bullets.
Yeah. I mean, and Baylor was that kid. I don't remember the stats specifically. I remember they were just pass heavy, 5 wide. Baylor would read it. I think he threw for like 3,000 or 4,000 yards his senior year.
Let's see what Shireman does here with 1:43 to go. And Peterson is just going to have him hand the ball off. And Landon Sabota kind of made an inadvertent tackle that time. He was on his back, and Egger just kind of tripped over him. So, Jordan, you've been here. These Blue Jays, you know, Coach Thompson, he's about as good a coach as there is. I vote him #1 in the state. And, you know, he's going to have the full attention of his Blue Jay squad come Monday morning.
Yeah, and, you know, you learn more from a loss than you ever do from a blowout win. And it wasn't the product of just playing B- football. It was the product of playing the #1 team in the state. And, we know obviously what Pierce looks like after last season. I'll finish this thought after the play.
Shireman on this 4th down. He's going to give to Egger, and Egger will be stopped in his tracks. Cerveny, Sabota, and there's another cannon blow, I think, because we stopped him on 4th down and 4. We got the National Guard here tonight, and they're keeping us safe, Jordan.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my dog is probably worked up as heck at home. He's terrified of fireworks. He probably hates this right now.
I remember you lost your dog on the 4th of July. I was sending out emails seeing if we could spot her, but you ended up finding her about a day later, huh?
Yeah, I found him about 4 miles outside of town, drove around for about – I never told you the story, Julie? Oh, yeah, I drove around for like a day and a half. I slept I probably lost him for like 18 hours. If my wife was listening to this right now, she'd be so mad having –
You never told her, did you?
She was in California. I didn't call her till about midnight. I was like, hey, babe, I got to tell you something. Kevin ran off. He heard some fireworks. And it was my fault for having him off the leash playing fetch, but not a great situation.
Yeah, you know what? Well, that was, that won't be the last time, Jordan.
I hope so. I hope it is the last. I hope it's the last time I lose my dog.
Well, yes.
Okay.
But there you go.
Okay.
You don't tell your wife when you do a boneheaded thing, right? And she's in California, so.
Yeah, we're 14 days into this whole marriage deal, and we're doing all right. So.
Oh man, she is a great lady, and that was a pretty special night, without a doubt. You guys did a marvelous job with that. And so here we go with 53 seconds to go. Blue Jays up down 33 to 14 to Aurora here. And we have Derek Tonjes in at quarterback. He's a freshman, and he's going to pitch to Austin Cote. Cote trying to find the right side. He'll get a couple, and it'll bring up second and long.
Yeah, little glimpse of the future here. You got Jaden Wilsey playing a tackle. He kind of plays that nose guard position. DT, he's going to be a stud. Already 6'4", can sling the rock. And then Austin Cote, they're saying really positive things about him playing running back this year.
And Parker Smith came up, made the stop. So Tonjes behind him. We'll have Aiden Washburn at fullback, Cote and and we got a whole new O-line, and we'll try to get that set for in a minute. And they're going to try Washburn up the middle. The fullback runs over a defender. He got 2 or 3. Hard running from the junior. And here comes a third down and about 6. Good blocking up front for Washburn from his O-line. And that'll do it, folks. So, first loss for the Blue Jays since 2018, which says something about the incredible brilliance of Ryan Thompson and his staff to keep his team undefeated for many years. But he lost to an incredibly worthy opponent, and that is the Aurora Huskies. They were as good as advertised. There's no doubt. 14 win for the Huskies, and we're going to go down to Grant Hansen as we get one more big
let's find him
cannon salute from the National Guard. And Jordan now is going to do some work with his students here as they will, of course, direct the camera, and in a few moments we'll have some final thoughts from Grant Hansen and Coach Ryan Thompson. So Aurora came in here rated number 1. They'd already beaten the rated team in Class B. They turned around last week, beat the 5th rated team in Class C1 in Boone Central. So they had already played a very good schedule. And then tonight, Jordan, they come in and play the number 3 rated team in C1, and boy, this cements their number 1 ranking.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, Ashland had 2 good wins already. They had kind of established themselves as one of those top-tier teams. So, you know, I think going forward, Pierce and Aurora are going to really, you know, they're gonna flex their muscle every week. And if some they slip up or something, you know, they're going to still find a lot of success. You know, Ashland going down to Auburn next week is another good challenge for them. But, you know, Ashland has kind of already shown themselves twice. And, you know, they showed good fight here. The score is not going to show it. The score is not going to hold it in the press box or in the score box. But, you know, they showed good fight tonight.
Well, Grant has the head coach, Ryan Thompson. Grant, go ahead and take it away.
Coach, look, obviously second half didn't go the way you guys wanted to go, but this year you guys are going to get an opportunity to do something you haven't done in the last 4 years, which is learn from a loss. Where's the value in that?
There's a lot of value. We're going to learn tonight. To be honest, I'm very proud of what we did in the second half. I know that we couldn't claw back into it, but we kind of looked at some things at halftime. We were misaligned defensively. We did some things wrong offensively, and I liked how our guys responded. Yeah, it didn't work. We got to get off the field on 4th down and 3rd down, and we got to convert when we're in the red zone. But we're going to learn a lot from this, and our goal, okay, if given the opportunity, our goal is to maybe meet them down the road or another team like them, and now we have this under our belt. So yeah, it's not fun losing. We want to win, but I'm going to tell you, these guys, they did absolutely everything we wanted them to tonight.
How big was it to kind of throw that first punch in the 3rd quarter? And look, you weren't able to cash in on your first offensive possession, but you got a turnover and you were able to turn that into points. How big was that 3rd quarter to kind of reset the team's mindset and say, hey, we're still in this thing?
You know, we told them all we wanted to see was a respond. If you make a bad play, there's more plays to win out there, and we got to go win those plays. And I thought our guys did a tremendous job in the second half. You know, as a score is a score, whatever that was. But I'm going to tell you that our guys, it's going to hurt because these guys love each other. They trust the process. It's going to hurt for the weekend, but I'm going to tell you at some point in time this year, we are going to look back on this game, and it's going to give us some very positive vibes to attack something else this summer.
What do you think is the biggest thing that needs to improve ahead of Auburn next week?
I think just consistency, just doing the little things. We wear something that says "Build our house, build your house." You know, we're building our house every day, and we don't want to take the keys to a house that's kind of poorly built. So everything we do, the small stuff, the big stuff, we want to be perfect at it. We want to keep building, and these guys are. I can tell you, not one of those guys wanted to screw up tonight, and then one of the coaches don't either. But I thought we fought very hard. I thought, you know, we came back, and it is what it is. I'm going to tell you that team's going to score a lot of points on a lot of teams, and I'm proud of what our guys did tonight.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck against Auburn next week.
Appreciate it. Josh, like I said, man, I'm sorry we battled hard for you. Love you too, and Amy, or love you, Amy, at home too.
All right, folks, this is Coach Thompson, and I will send it back up to the booth.
All right, great work, Grant Hansen, without a doubt. And that's what I love about Coach Thompson. He is finding all of the good out of that. And there was a lot of good in that second half as Kayla has racked up the stats as they played toe-to-toe with this Aurora Huskies team.
Yeah, do we want to talk about second half stats or whole game stats?
You know what? You just got the stats from Kaylee. You break it down.
Tim, that makes me so. Hey, so, for the game, Blue Jays, they complete 12 passes for 165 yards, go 12 for 26. That's pretty impressive. Rushing, they get 19 carries for 80 yards. So that's, the rushing's down a little bit, but they showed a lot of life in that passing game, kind of opened things up a little bit and let Dane work a little bit. Aurora, on the other hand, this one's going to hurt a little bit. 53 rushes for 270 yards. A lot of those are going to be Collazo. We're going to take a look at what he did in a second. Six completions on 12 attempts for 61 yards for 331 total. Coach Thompson, I think he's exactly right when he says they're going to run quite a bit. Looking for Collazo's rushing stats.
And this may take a while for you to calculate this.
Yeah.
So he had a good night.
So, yeah, I'm seeing, numbers aren't quite matching up, but I see one other player who's had 161 yards rushing. That's got to be him. He had a lot of yards. I don't think I'm quite reading this stats thing right. I'll let you take a look at it here.
Bet.
When we look at tackles for Aurora, Luke Lambert, he's getting in a lot of those 6 tackles. He had 6 unassisted tackles, 6 assisted tackles. He's a good player. Ty Carey got in on 5 assisted and 3 unassisted. Sabota, he's doing a good job. He got in on 6 unassisted tackles and 4 assisted. So Blue Jays flying around tonight, getting a lot of things done. Tim, are you having a little better luck reading that stat sheet than me?
You know what? We might have Kayla take a look at this. I'm looking for Collazo's number, but yeah, you're right.
The max rushes was 161.
Yeah, he, no doubt about it. Big night. We don't know what that number is exactly, but there's no doubt.
They had 270 rushing yards total, so how many guys are helping out with that?
Absolutely.
More than Newts or even that second running back that came in late in the game. He was a workhorse all night. Collazo was.
Right, and you know what? I know this isn't a number after giving up just 94 yards total offense per game, but Aurora, they didn't end up just a smidge over 300. And again, I thought in that second half they did a much better job of containing that offense.
And it's like kind of a cliche, but what I'm learning as I get older is that cliches are cliches for a reason. I mean, you kind of wonder if the Blue Jays just really, truly didn't get punched in the mouth a little bit. And not that they weren't prepared, not that they haven't worked hard and done their homework, things like that, but, I don't think you realize the level of a player like Collazo until you get in there and you physically have him running downhill. All the glances, all the times he's able to glance off a guy, spin for 10 more yards, or keep a play alive. Special player.
Yeah, he is. And listen, not to put a little pressure on you, but Grant Hansen, you already said it, man. He just did some great things on the sideline. Then he comes up, and he shows me a tweet. Carlos Collazo, 33 carries for 249. So listen, he set the bar very high.
Yeah, I'm in trouble. I know this is I know, Tim, you call this my show because I set everything up and I have access to the equipment at school, but my role in sideline is in huge trouble.
Well, listen, you just went and listened to the guy next door from NCN and you came back and said, Tim, you're in trouble because I listened to that guy next door. So.
Well, ours is free, so.
Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, this is a tough loss. Blue Jays hadn't been here in a long time. 2018 is a long time, regular season loss. How does a team like that respond after it's been so long that they've gone through this kind of a situation? And to do it in the way they did it, losing by 19.
Yeah, I'd say in all honesty, I'm kind of proud of Thompson because, I think this was truthfully a game that he sought out. And, if I'm not going to be careful with my words here, but we've kind of waltzed through the seasons in previous years, big win after big win after big win, then we run into Ord. Big win after big win after big win, and we run into another great team in the second round. So I think Thompson was unbelievably intentional about requesting top-tier teams, not finding yourself through 4 or 5 games and then playing a good team and then running into great teams. And he didn't run from this. He absolutely did not run from this opportunity. Top 10 teams the first 5 weeks of the season, proven ourselves in 2 of them already, fought hard here. You don't like moral victories, but this loss hurts a lot worse if it's in week 9. It's only week 3.
Yeah. And
you've already done great things this season. So I don't know. The boys are competitors. The boys are upperclassmen. They're gonna take this hard. But me personally, I don't want to be a morals victory guy. But I'm not taking this too hard because you didn't seek out an untested team. You sought out the best team in Class C1 that would probably be very competitive in a tough Class B.
And also, let's just say this, and I agree with you. I think they're going to learn so much from this. They played a great schedule: Columbus, Lakeview, Wahoo, and now, of course, Aurora. this is going to help them. And I've always said this, and I said this to someone just last week. I think in Week 9, this Blue Jay squad is going to look a lot different against top-tier teams than they do, obviously, tonight against Aurora. I mean, we saw them grow up in a lot of ways in this second half tonight. I love the leadership. I love the high character of these kids, and they will respond.
Yeah, and, you're 2-1 against 3 top 10 teams. I think that if you would have said, hey, what's a disappointment to the start of the season, what if they're 0-3? They came out and they handled Lakeview. They handled Wahoo, and then they fought and didn't get it done against Aurora. So got to rebound because you come back against Auburn being a little sleepy, and, you find yourself at 2-2. So I know Thompson's going to have these boys ready to go, a little fuel to the fire they haven't had for a couple years.
And you got the Auburn Bulldogs next Friday night, so it gets no easier. They're rated number 9. So your thoughts on that game?
Well, I'll tell you what, pretty excited to have Barry back in the booth. I'm gonna get down there and I'm gonna watch a game. I'm gonna enjoy it. We'll have it on BBN, I'm sure, agbluejays.com.
That's right.
So pretty excited about that. Overall, Auburn, they've had good players in the past. Maybe some of those star players that they've had for 2 or 3 years have kind of moved on. So I need to get in the film room, watch a little bit. I know they've had some tough tests and they've done a good job recently. Maybe you're a little bit more familiar than the games that they played, but I know that some of those names that they had, the Dixon at running back and the set of brothers that were playing quarterback for him are no longer there. So we will see that, and we will kind of get back in the film room and see what next week looks like.
Well, here's an update here. Grant Hansen just keeps the hits coming. Wahoo beat Auburn tonight, or leads Auburn. They beat them 21-7. So, gives you a little bit of an idea of next Friday night. But, again, we know Auburn's good. They've got a lot of great athletes. It's going to be a fun one next Friday night.
Yep.
So
never going to be walking the cake. You don't get in the top 10 for no reason.
Right. Well, listen, Jordan, you've been awesome. And I know we've given each other a hard time here the last 2 weekends, but you've been awesome. Thank you so much for the work you've done. Absolutely outstanding insights from the Hastings College All-American. And, boy, what a great team we had here tonight. And Aiden Rowley, who got his first break being on air tonight, did a marvelous job. Julie Mink, our award-winning producer, did a knockout job spotting and producing the broadcast tonight. Of course, Stephen K. Lilani, there's no one better at racking the numbers for us. And our special guest star tonight, Grant Henson, who came in and did a bang-up job from the sideline. For all of them, I'm Tim Washburn saying so long. We'll see you next Friday.